recapping the weekend box office with all the latest news, movies and the magic. We bring it all to you on the WILIscredia channel every Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, whichever day Charles deems to be okay. With Charles, Lindsay, and Craig, we set the scene on WILIscredia's channel where the silver screen gleams. Ring the bell to help you stay tuned and to find out which day Charles will choose. Where subtext is clear, no anger within. Tune in to Showbiz on WILIscredia's channel for the win.
You know, maybe we should just watch that on repeat for the next like 2 or 3 hours. Like the guy at the end who's just kind of like doing, I don't know who he is or what his deal is, but I'm in love with him. Hello, everybody. And welcome to Show Business. It's September 30th, 2024. We're here to talk about a very unique movie today. But before we get to that, let's say hi to people. My name is LINZO'S or LINZO'S or something like that. Whatever you want to call me is cool. My two
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis. This guy's picking up my little jokey jokes. But speaking of picking up my little jokey jokes, we got Charles.
Hi. Well, welcome. See, I really feel like we should have done a different day because I guess maybe not because I deem it to be okay this week on Monday. Then, Gray.
Hey, I'm Gray.
Yay.
Hell yeah, you are.
Yay.
Yeah, guys, thanks for everyone that's tuning in. Who do we got in the audience? We got Sean Sheridan. We got Rose Sales Comics, who just followed me on Twitter. Look me up on Twitter at Lindsay Pank. If I pronounced your names wrong, by the way, I apologize. Of course, we got Dice.
Always call him Rosales. Always.
Rosales? There's always Rosales? Okay,
Rosales,
okay.
if you will.
Yeah, I got thumbs up from him, so clearly, you know, they're doing something right here. And Graveyard Key. Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I am doing well. You know, I had a fun weekend. Oh, 5 movies today. That's actually legitimately impressive. Requiem for a Dream. I usually can't do anything after I watch that movie.
Yeah, that's enough for a day.
Man, when was the last time I watched Requiem, actually? I think 6 or 7 years ago. It's not really something I whip out very often.
I like that you brought it up like it's something you check in on every year. Some people are good just watching it half of the one time.
Well, I just want to see if I've changed as a person, if I have a different opinion on it. Like, I feel like it's a perfect reflection of my soul. So I just want to like check in with it. Just, you know, it's that kind of a thing.
How do you compare it to Trainspotting?
I've actually never seen Trainspotting.
Really?
I mean, I've been to train yards and been like, that's a train. That's a train, but like I don't feel like it's exactly what you're talking about.
It's they're similar subject matter, but different types of.
You might want to do a marathon next time you're feeling down.
Yeah, okay.
Will make me feel better. Or make me so Gray's off with the bangers today. I'm loving that here. But to the weekend that was, we have some crazy ass numbers here and some crazy ass movies, my friends. The Wild Robot coming into first place with 35 million. I have not seen it, but I've heard good things. Beetlejuice, finally taken out of first place. You know what? Good for it. It had a good run. Transformers 1, doing numbers. I mean, this might actually be the lowest grossing Transformers movie I think I heard this week, but people are adoring it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm fascinated. I really need to just get out and see it already. Does anyone know what Devara is?
I think that's a Bollywood movie.
That would make sense.
Oh, nice.
But hey, fourth place, it's 5.6 million. That's pretty good for Bollywood.
It's not like it was going up against any big film from any well-known creator.
Legendary directors with their swan song magnum opus. But then we have Speak No Evil, which I particularly love because it only lost 25% this weekend versus last weekend. Horror in its element, doing its thing, holding on. I kind of love it, even if I wasn't crazy about the movie. Somewhere Cody's out there just twitching, being like, shut up. Shut up. But then the big movie for the weekend, Megalopolis, from one of the most celebrated directors of all time. His final film comes in 6th place. It took him 40 years to get it made, and it made $100,000 at the box office.
Just 0.2 off of fifth place, though. I mean, it was close.
I mean, it's not bad, especially because it's an indie film, and like I think I saw one trailer for it. There wasn't a lot of marketing for it, right? Am I wrong about that?
I
saw it like nonstop, but it could be my feed. It was mostly YouTube ads.
That's fair. But then this is another really big one here too. Actually, Deadpool coming in 7th place. It's finally out of the top 5, right?
Dude, it's available on streaming tomorrow.
And it's still in 7th place. That's just fun. Never Let Go is holding on, but not by a lot. My Old Ass. We got 2 Aubrey Plaza movies in the top 10. You gotta love that. Plus, she's got Agatha all along on Disney Plus. Aubrey Plaza's taking over the world, guys. Any Howl's Moving Castles fans too, by the way? I'm so happy to see this in the top 10.
I need to see it.
You definitely should.
I hear it's in theaters right now. Charles, now's your chance.
I know.
I think so. The first
you don't say.
Oh my god, the company that makes Howl's Moving Castle and all those Ghibli. The
Ghibli.
first Ghibli movie I saw was Ghibli. I always forget which one. I'm the anime guy. Was Spirited Away, and then Howl's Moving Castle, and both of them just like rewired my brain. I feel like they're absolutely incredible films. But that was the week. That was a very exciting, interesting. And just for a personal note, Am I Racist has fallen to 12th place. So,
dude,
I gotta see it.
Right.
I really want to see, because I've heard from some of my other friends that like it is one of the funniest films of the year. So I don't know, man. I want to see where I fall on it, because I dig the Borat style thing, and if he's really gonna like lean into it hard, like that could be funny. But man, I don't know. I haven't brought myself to buying a ticket for it yet. Instead, I went and supported the Wild Robot this weekend.
Oh, so sweet!
I'm part of the problem.
How is that?
It's really cute. You know, come on, a robot saving nature. It's great. It's everything you want and a little bit more.
Oh, because I want everything.
Yeah,
and then
it's
some.
there. You will tear up.
Was it a Disney movie? Pixar? Who did it? I totally forgot.
Not Pixar. No, I'm blanking on it. Is it DreamWorks?
DreamWorks.
It might be DreamWorks.
I want to say it's DreamWorks, but I'm kind of blanking on it off the top of my head. But it's not Disney.
Cody and Sean saw it at Fantastic Fest, and I remember I heard about that. I was like, "Wait, what? Why are they showing a animated kids movie at horror
DreamWorks?"
themed?
Thank you, Graveyard Key.
I mean, clearly, it's fantastic.
I can see why you'd choose this one. They chose a bunch of them that are pretty damn good this year at Fantastic Fest. So
well,
I'm excited to a bunch of the other ones.
They saw Strange Darling last year, so. Just for the Strange Darling recommend, I'm going to be a bit more lenient on stuff.
Oh, and fun fact, I just found this out today, kind of going over some Megalopolis clips and info. Some guy was talking, Patrick H. Williams was talking about he went to Cannes just to see it. And apparently, I didn't know this, but apparently Elemental premiered at Cannes. Has a Pixar movie ever premiered at a Cannes before? I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like, what other Pixar movie would they do? Toy Story 4? No.
Dude, Clerks 2 premiered at Cannes.
Didn't it get like a 10-minute ovation or something?
I think it was 16 to be exact.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry for stealing some of his thunder.
Well, don't they have like snipers up in the balconies? Like if someone sits down before everyone else, they just start taking you out there in the audience.
No.
It's European, so I'm thinking maybe not.
That's fair, actually. Okay, I apologize. They're bringing my American sensibilities to the French.
So, am I racist? I have no solid thought about it because I'm not hearing anything about it. Nobody's really saying anything. The one business thing I could understand them trying to keep it as quiet as possible is because is if they put it on Daily Wire Plus. They're probably.
I think they're going to.
Right.
Very soon. They definitely
so for as far as business is concerned, you run your 2 weeks to be qualified for whatever rewards, and then put it back on. Take it easy.
Sorry.
And then you you put it on Daily Wire Plus, and I don't know if it's solid because you should have some sort of buzz, and not really sending screeners to anybody or having critic shows.
Defense. I can't like guarantee like the whatever veracity of the claims, but they're saying that they sent out a bunch of screeners and nobody would review it. So I don't know if that's the case or if they kept it under wraps. Hard to say, but either way, you're not getting that buzz like you're talking about.
I might be too small time for it, but I didn't get any emails for any of that stuff. So.
They did not email me either.
I wonder if they tried to send a key to like one person, that person rejected it, so they're now just like, oh, everyone's rejecting our screener.
Yeah, I think like there's a lot. I'm just skeptical over a lot of things. Like it helps to the thing that nobody wants you to see. Well, because we didn't send it to anyone. You don't want that.
Which kind of works as a way to market it. And I
totally
know
works,
they've really kept it under wraps too. It doesn't seem to be spreading. It seems to be the only way that you can see it is in theaters. So good for them. They're actually making quite a bit of money off of it. So
this is definitely going to be the Daily Wire's most successful movie. Possibly ever. We'll see if they can top this. That'll be interesting, I think.
Come on. You know they're going to get the second one. Am I still racist? Or am I racist too? You know they're going to do a sequel. You got to.
But considering it's comedy, and like what I can't stand is these message movies or these teams movies where it's just, I'm watching this because I'm a liberal. I'm watching this because I am MAGA. Like I don't want to be that. I just want to watch the movie and, judge it fair and square based on the film.
Yeah, but you can't do that in 2024. You either need to, everything you watch either needs to be the devil itself or the second coming of Jesus. And trying to like have nuance it's just not going to get you anywhere, bud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be that guy.
Might be going nowhere, but I'm going to give it a try. Just going to roll the dice.
I'm the only one that's seen it, and honestly, like I won't pretend like it didn't make me laugh. I've said this before. Like I definitely did, get a chuckle or two in here and there. It's just
I don't need it to be Avatar. If I'm entertained, like there's a ton of movies that Gray and I might discuss the Paramount Plus premiere. Later. That is no.
The dance numbers, though.
All those ankles.
Okay, wait. If Avatar 3 is going to just randomly just start being a musical, like three chapters into, I will be so on board.
Well,
just like the absurdity of it.
Joker Folie Adieu or anything, so we're okay.
But all that funness aside, I think the big movie for the weekend is Megalopolis.
The big movie in
Indeed.
sixth place.
Sixth place is $4 million. What is 4 million of 120? I'm curious. Like, what percentage of the box office did it take?
3%.
Is it 3%? Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, wow. I'm
The Mask Kid
definitely had heavy ads too, so that can't be the end of their budget.
And I thought initially that Coppola got someone else to pick up the marketing, but no, apparently he did the marketing too. In addition, so
Yeah.
This elevator's quite nice.
Oh dang it! Okay, you guys noticed. I was trying to be subtle with the music coming in.
It's good. It's good in silence. As long as the chat isn't destroyed by it, it's fine.
We'll see. If people complain, we'll turn it off. It's my channel's theme song, a weird cover of Dirty Work. That seems kind of appropriate here. It ties into the whole King Shark thing. We don't need to get into it.
Well, Lindsay, you're the only one that's seen Megalopolis. Why don't you talk about it?
Okay. It is insane. It is bold. It is singular. It is not fun to watch. It's very kind of difficult to get through, and it's not necessarily narratively or dramatically satisfying. But there's a lot of really just batshit things in it. There's so many.
Can you complain in key, please?
I apologize. No, like there's so many cool shots in this movie of the city, or someone like against like the cityscape, or someone above the city on this obviously CGI platform. Because while the visuals can be incredible at times, they can also look like they were done by a college kid sometimes. It's a little
Lindsay,
all over the place.
Considering it's kind of flashy looking, and perhaps not in a good way, do you think that this is a movie that he could have done 20 years ago? Would there be some sort of something hindering his filmmaking if it were made in like 1999 or something?
I would be fascinated by seeing what that would have been like, because there probably would have led to some of these really awkward green screens kind of maybe being more practical, or maybe, you know, a few more real sets. I think that could have gone a long way to kind of sucking you into the world of this movie that's about tearing down the old city that's not working and building up the new metropolis that's supposed to fix all the issues of the old world, just kind of magically.
Is it more like Citizen Kane or Metropolis?
Well, that's the problem, because you actually just asked me the two movies I've never seen before, so you can go ahead and make fun of me for that. I know, yeah.
Never seen Metropolis?
I've never seen Metropolis.
Man.
No, I apologize. Let me give you a quick breakdown.
You should probably see Citizen Kane, but
I definitely should.
But you should see Metropolis.
Well, I've seen the first half of Citizen Kane. It was like 3 a.m, so I fell asleep. I should go back and watch it again from the beginning. Like, it was a cool movie. I just
cover film in school like it's
it's
the opening session.
Oh yeah, no, I know the reputation behind it, and like what are some of the cool shots that Citizen Kane invented, where it's like things in the background and foreground are both
showing the
in
ceiling
focus at the same time?
A deep focus. Gray, how do you achieve a deep focus?
Well, one way is to use a split diopter. It's quite fun, actually. But it makes for this interesting transition line right in kind of the middle of it. But good times.
It's not always done like with that, but yes. If you could just tweak the volume a little bit. But yeah, I'm just joshing because nobody was talking about split diopters before there was an interview on Strange Darling, and now everybody's talking about split diopter, and it's like, okay,
fun shots.
No, it is. It's gorgeous. It's just 2 months ago it was called deep focus. Now it's split diopter, and not always is it used with a split diopter. But
true.
We're talking baseball. Sorry. Lindsay, please tell us about this brilliant $4 million mega monster.
So the story is pretty simple. Adam Driver is Elon Musk, but you replace Mars with blowing up Los Angeles to build a better Los Angeles, and it's almost 1-to-1. It's part of my biggest gripes with the movie is the first half of the movie is full of people saying like, bro, it is a bad idea to blow up the city and kick people out of their homes for something that might not work. This is a bad idea. You cannot justify this. Like the risk
buys Twitter instead.
Oh, that would have been an incredible swerve. but instead, what ends up really happening is Adam Driver just responds with like the line from the trailer of "Don't sacrifice the future for the now," or he starts just doing an entire Shakespeare monologue. Like at one point, people are questioning him on this stuff, and he just does the entire "to be or not to be," like word for word. And so, like, while those things were happening and people are calling him out, and he's responding with over-the-top pretentious quotes like that, I'm like, oh, the movie is like calling out people like Elon Musk. It's like saying, no, you can't do these things. This is a bad idea. But then in the second half of the movie, everyone just kind of starts just agreeing with him for no reason. And then the movie ends and he gets his big crazy city and it's perfect and it's a utopia and the building material also provides power somehow. And there's like magical like escalators taking you to any part of the city you want to go at any time. And it's just like, I can't, man. Like it just doesn't come together. Sorry, go ahead.
If Metropolis
sounds so incoherent.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you were able to put that into words. It's like, okay, I can kind of picture that.
Sounds like if you took Metropolis, Citizen Kane, and Atlas Shrugged and just let
I was
them
gonna
have
say
babies.
it's got a dusting of Atlas in there for sure.
I keep describing it as a Shakespearean retelling of Atlas Shrugged about Elon Musk. So take from that what you will.
Is it Elon Musk, or is it just Elon Musk type?
It's not really Elon Musk, but it's like you can really apply a lot of things to him. And like there's a lot of stuff in the first half of the movie that's really all about like, we don't need the super rich and powerful. Look at all the waste that they're doing with their money, when there's like this big like indoor gladiator like arena thing with like circus performers and chariots in order to celebrate like the announcement of a banker getting married to a news reporter lady. And while that's going on, there's like this Britney Spears-esque character that comes out and starts singing this song, and then all these people start pledging hundreds of millions of dollars that they'll pay out if this Britney Spears character is still a virgin when she gets married. So it's like this movie is exploring all the weird, stupid crap rich people do with their money that is a complete waste of time and resources. And it's like, okay, I'm with you. This is so cool. But then in the third act, it's like, no, all that stuff's okay. It's just like...
What?
Exactly. This is where it becomes incoherent. And for better or for worse, like I've seen a lot of people that have like really studied up on this film talk about how like it's changed over the 40 years that he wanted to make it. Like, you know, hey, I want to explore this, but now I want to explore this. Now I want to explore this. And yeah, you can see that on screen. There's an entire subplot of a satellite that's going to fall in the city and destroy a whole bunch of it and kill a whole bunch of people. And there's several sequences dedicated to it, but then it's just glossed over.
Are they
like
pro that? If he's like trying to blow up the city, wouldn't he be pro the satellite falling on the city so that he could then make the new city?
100%. I figured that would be like how they really get the construction going, because it's going to blow up like, you know, 3/4 of the city or something like that. And there's going to be rubble. And we might as well use that to, you know, to build the new city. But there's like one sequence where they're like, oh, there's like this satellite. It's going to crash. Oh, that sucks. And there's a scene where the satellite's crashing and people are like, oh, this sucks. But then there's like no direct fallout. We don't see how the satellite crashing like directly led into it. There's so many like leaps. And I understand that this is like an art film, and it like it's not meant to be taken. Not take nothing in this movie literally, but like it just a little bit of like narrative or dramatic satisfaction or like thematic cohesion really would have gone very far to make this more than just like a visual feast. Like Adam Driver has time control powers in this movie, but if you were to just delete that in the edit, like on the timeline in your editing software, just remove the parts of the movie where he's talking about his time control powers, nothing changes. It's like, why does he have that? Okay, I guess I should say, I was like 3 minutes late to my screening. Maybe those 3 minutes explained everything that I'm missing. I don't particularly believe like they could, but hey, I should at least throw that out there as a possibility.
It doesn't sound completely off-putting, as bizarre as it is to say that. Real quick, Marcy, Lindsay needs watch hours, and then he can get himself qualified for AdSense. So that is, stay on Lindsay's channel. Lindsay, do you have the bottom thing to show people where to go?
Show them your bottom thing.
I'll show my bottom thing. Not that
it definitely sounds like it's got like kind of Ayn Randian elements, but it sounds like the message is completely the opposite. But from how you described it, it's a little bit more Fountainhead than like Atlas Shrugged. It's kind of more the artist who is unwilling to compromise his architectural design, so to speak. So I don't know, but she definitely had some very anti-socialist messages in there. I'm not necessarily getting this from how you described it. So,
It's a very confused movie, but like it's trying so hard, and like I kind of love it for it's like the little movie that could have but didn't, and that's why like I've put out a YouTube short about it. Check it out, watch my channel. I got all kinds of good content, and in that video I say like, look, this movie's not good, but I'm still going to tell you to go see it, just because you'll never see anything like this again. And the parts of it that are good are worth remembering, even if the parts of it that are messy and fall apart completely should just kind of be swept under the rug and maybe forgotten about. Like, someone gets shot in the head at one point in this movie, and they use the same material they want to build the super city out of to fix their head. It's a total fantasy land, and like the trailer describes it as a fable, and like yeah, totally, but like I don't know. I feel. Oh, go ahead.
Based on what you said, it sounds like it might have some sort of commentary on things that we use, just based on that, like how carbon fiber is something that gets used for multiple ends. It's made for bullets. It's made for medical equipment. So
very true. Very very true.
I don't know if it fleshes that out as well as your TLDR version. But,
TDLR.
but it's I'm not turned off by it. I'm just curious to know if maybe he's got a 4-hour version of it that he'll release with the 50th anniversary edition of Megalopolis. Like,
give us the
more of it.
Give
made
us
more
the
sense.
But
if you had twice as much, would it make way more sense?
Maybe. Some of the things that were left on the drawing room floor could be like why Giancarlo Esposito's character kind of 180s on Adam Driver. Like the real reason is that Giancarlo's daughter is, and if I pronounce Giancarlo's name incorrectly, I apologize. But part of the reason he 180s is because Adam Driver starts dating Natalie Emanuela, who is Giancarlo's daughter. And and Giancarlo's like, no, this guy's evil. You can't be fucking with him. And she's just like, but you love me, and if you love me, then how can he be evil if I love him? And it's just like maybe there could have been like a little bit more to that than what there was.
A certain amount of logic there, I guess. I don't know.
Do
you see this as being like a classic? Is it like so bad it's good? Is this like the next The Room thing? Or do you really see this as like just a one-time thing and then it's gone?
I mean, it could definitely catch on. Will it like have the same reverence as like some of his other works, or like some of the other crazy works that are kind of coming out these days? Maybe not. I think it has a place in the zeitgeist as just like a weird experiment and like a monument to sorry, I'm being a bad producer here. And like a monument to like a true artist just like going for it and not letting anything hold him back. Like I have issues with the movie, but the fact that Coppola funded this completely out of his own pocket is so cool. It's just like with M. Night. Like I love that he's doing it. I just wish that the movies they were making were a little bit better.
If there's ever a reason I'm rooting for this movie, it's because it's different. It's not, part 15 of a franchise. It's not cape shit. So I'm rooting for it just to, change things up at the theaters. Quit putting it on me all the time. And just to have some, let studios gamble again. And even though Coppola funded this himself, I just want things like this to succeed for the sake of letting them, again, gamble a little bit.
Yeah. No, 100%. This is great interview George Lucas did a few years ago where he talks about how filmmaking is they give you $200 million and tell you to go to the blackjack table and come back with $500 million. And yeah.
He was the first person to make a movie about black people in World War II.
This is very true. This is 100% true.
George.
George. We still love you, buddy. But, George.
Are studios necessary? The other one this year that I'm thinking that's very similar to this is like Horizon, the Saga Chapter 1. Now I'm forgetting all of that. But it's kind of the same type of deal, but it's, Costner's attempt at the same type of deal. It's a passion project and he's going outside the studio to do it his way. Apparently that's not working out as well as he had hoped. Is having that studio behind you, does it give it that impetus that like, okay, it must make money, so it must be marketable in some way, where it appears these two weren't? Would it be improved if it was a studio film?
I'm going to say no, because like the good things about this movie are how weird it is, and I don't see a big studio going along with some of the weirdness. I feel like it definitely would have gotten reined in for better or for worse. maybe that's the secret to fixing this movie is there's a lot of talks about how they would change scenes on the fly as they were filming them, or just start improvising, and that led to things like the creative team, so the original CGI artists just kind of quitting because the things that they were doing constantly had to change so much. Or like, okay, so the scene's going to be like this, so we'll start doing things like this. But now they're like, oh no, now the scene's like this, so start doing the things like this. And they're like, no, fuck this, I'm not redoing everything I've done just because you got creative on the day of.
Not that it'll ever happen, but I feel like for studios to be comfortable and feel like they're taking less risks, all of their franchises and superhero shit, if they could figure out how to contain that, put their money into it, and have it be like a series, like an 8-episode thing about superhero community thing, and put it on your streaming platform, because these people do get a lot of that percentage, if not 100, and then let theaters be special things. And I don't know, it's stuff like this where I'm rooting for Blumhouse.
Oh, that's getting big screen right there. Okay, here we go.
As well as like Neon, A24. Because at the very least, Blumhouse, he puts little to no money into something, but he gambles at least every now and again, and sometimes it hits. So I don't know. I have more credit for a studio that takes risks, and even more so if they're not like a big studio. Strange Darling, available on VOD tomorrow. Buy it.
Woo. I've already bought 5 copies. I don't know what I'm going to do with them, but I got them.
Oh, you're going to want to watch it too, because next week we're officially going to do a spoiler talk, because I waited long enough. I'm going to watch it again, and we're going to fucking spoil it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so down.
Oh, wait. We got important chat here.
Late breaking news.
Uh-oh. You heard it here first. I don't know. From Cody Leach. You heard it here first. I don't know what in the living Joker Volume 2 is supposed to be. God help us if Ryan comes out saying it. I shouldn't laugh as I'm reading that, but that was hilarious.
I don't know if
You just don't get it.
It's it's not for you.
That's right. That's right.
Huh.
I'm
not
a white guy. Nothing's for me
anymore. That's another thing we'll be talking about next week. Thanks, Cody. I'm genuinely not surprised. Megalopolis does sound like a lot.
Kind of.
A lot like Inception, but
Inceptionopolis is a fun word too.
The way you're describing it sounds like what I felt Inception was before watching it, and then I watched it. It's like, oh, it's actually quite concise and badass.
I want to be nicer to this movie. I really, really do, but it's just so. But then I just keep thinking about that scene with like the Britney Spears character, where it's just like, what's the point of the scene where people are bidding for this woman to keep her virginity till she's married if you're not making a commentary on the waste of resources?
Without seeing it, it sounds like it could be a commentary on celebrity and how much we pay too much attention to things that really don't need to be in the public, whatever.
100%. And then again, like, he changed the movie over the 40 years that he was trying to make it, so it's entirely possible that sequence wasn't in there till like 2008, till all that Britney Spears stuff happened, and it's still somewhat relevant today.
I'm intrigued, but I do not want to watch it in a theater for whatever that's worth.
Why not? You don't want the official? You could have possibly gotten somebody interacting with Adam Driver in front of you.
Yeah, can we talk about that for a minute? In case anyone watching this hasn't heard about this, at Con and several other like big screenings that like Francis Ford Coppola was at, they actually do a thing where they play a scene that I think is unique to those screenings, where Adam Driver is like giving a press conference, and then someone in the audience stands up with a microphone and starts interacting with Adam Driver on the screen. like it's obviously all scripted, obviously all pre-recorded, and all that. But that's still kind of a cool idea. I've never seen that before. It would kind of blow my mind if I was at a film festival and someone started talking to the movie and the movie was talking back.
That's gotta, like, it needs to work though.
Right. Yeah.
He's kind of messed around with stuff like that. I think it was like a 2011 film, Twixt of his. But in the festival screenings of it, he would re-edit it live, and he would do certain scenes based off of audience reaction. It would be like what take and what version of it he's going to use. He's not new to that. He tries to offer something different for like the festival experience, if you will.
See, like, yeah, it's kind of like what magic is, or like certain jokes of stand-up. Like, if you know that, 4 times out of 10, an audience will react this way, you can kind of gamble on it. And for the people that didn't get it, they just don't get it. And there will be the people that do get it and know, oh, this movie spoke exactly to me. And, it'll cause some sort of discourse. It feels like every 10, 15 years or so, some sort of interactivity comes up, and, movies try something different. Like the John Malkovich movie that's coming out in 100 years. They filmed it and put it away for a century because, okay. So it's essentially FOMO, the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fascinated by the concept of that movie, but like, what happens in 100 years if people watch it and they're all just like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, what if society progresses or something like, oh, these pretentious, selfish bastards thought that we'd want to watch their stupid movie from 100 years ago. Who even watches movies anymore?
Yeah, that's got to leak at some point, right? Like, someone has a copy of that they're...
I think it's locked away. It's like in a safe. It's a time capsule, I think.
Okay, interesting.
But Graveyard Key brought up something, and I'm kind of enamored with this idea that Adam Driver needs a new agent. And going on, I don't know. It's been a while. 65 was bad.
It wasn't great.
That was.
I turned it off.
Preceded by House of Gucci, where he took a huge stab at a accent, if you will, and then right after 65, he did Ferrari, where he took another stab at an accent, and. I don't know. Right before that, there was The Last Duel, which, kind
of okay. Wasn't it?
It was interesting.
Matt Damon?
Yeah, and Ben Affleck. It was a Ridley Scott thing. But, I got like 4 trigger warnings just going into the theater for that one. He's made some interesting choices. I don't disagree that maybe he might need a new agent might be good.
Yeah, I feel like he got his Star Wars money, and now like it seems like he's being hooked up with these things that feel like Oscar bait, and for the most part, some of them are, but they're kind of missing really hard.
But I guess you also have to ask, like, I mean, does he want to be in big blockbusters, or like, does he want to do things like Marriage Story? Or Black Klansman, where it's like, yeah, he's not making a lot of money, but he was so good at Black Klansman. Like that, where he's like angry, like, go ahead.
We're before Rise of Skywalker. Sorry, just, I love Black Klansman and The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, The Report, but all those were kind of before. Since then, he's just done like 7 movies, and they're all a little weird, but I think he has time to kind of choose interesting roles.
In the chat, we have
Ferrari was different.
Oh, sorry, Greg. What about Shirtless Driver in those 4D theaters? It's like, hey, man, look, if I'm going to be tossed around in a chair, I want to be tossed into Darth Chest's chest, okay? So, like, let's make that happen right there.
Yeah, it's weird. He's talented. I would say that he's probably the strongest performer in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I'm not saying that the movies warranted much of any of it, but he's a good actor. I mean, like you said, Marriage Story, really, really good. I think that came out the same time as Rise of Skywalker, right?
I think it was like just before it.
Yeah, like the same month, I think.
Yeah.
It's right
I
around
remember
there.
Red Letter's media marriage story was Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson do Marvels to buy houses. They do Marriage Story to have fun or something. Not have fun, but
I don't know how fun that was, but fair enough.
it was something along those lines. That's one I almost wanted to go back and rewatch the other day. I don't really know why, because I wasn't crazy about Marriage Story when it first came out. Like the acting was incredible, and but like as a movie, I don't know. You were a fan of it though, right, Charles? Marriage Story?
Yes. Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like it's a more tuned up version of Kramer versus Kramer, and I think Kramer versus Kramer is a really good movie.
Yeah.
It is.
The only thing it needed, honestly, was to get Kramer from Seinfeld in there, so it's Kramer v. Kramer v. Kramer. But I don't know, man. Canceled.
Nope.
Yeah.
None of that.
I just think it's got a Requiem quality for me. Like I like it, but man, it's hard to watch. Like it is just, it's not one that I'm like, I need to keep watching that one. Let me pop that in. Good time.
Yeah.
But some amazing performances.
There are moments in that movie where I'm like, if they didn't have a kid, would they be standing here yelling at each other? Because I've been in those fights, and I'm like, just why? They don't get that. Like, I don't know what to say.
Well, they're literally saying, "I hate you. I wish you die." And that's it's like, trust me, I've fought with exes before, but like that was
like everybody's had that feeling. That's what's like, brilliant about that movie, because people have had that feeling. Have never wanted or not said it. Logan Lucky was awesome. Yeah, it seems like once we hit the 20s, Adam Driver kind of lost touch with.
Well, has he been bad in anything yet, or is he just like getting a little loosey goosey with what he's willing to take? Like, I don't think I've ever seen him be bad in anything. Even the SNL skit where he's like he's like,
dude, he is perhaps
right?
the best SNL host of the last 5 or 6 years.
Hell yeah,
he's awesome in that.
Oh, was he inside in Llewellyn? Was he inside Llewellyn Davis? Was he in?
He was all up inside that. He's the bass voice on the really fun song. He's the one who takes off from the comedic song, whereas Llewellyn takes the payment and does not. He's quite a big role in that one. I really dig that performance. That for me is my
I
peak.
see that movie.
Yeah.
I love him. I love Oscar Isaac. I didn't know he was in it. Like, I just I'm down.
Oh.
Wait, it was Oscar Isaac, right? Or who was it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, it's Oscar Isaac. Yeah, I think they're amazing performances, especially when you think about the Star Wars connection.
Yeah. Did they ever share a scene together? Oh, no, they did. Literally, Force Awakens opens with them sharing a scene together. I take it back.
What do I do? Talk first? You talk first?
Raiders, AK. I have yet to fight with an ex. I only fight with currents. Fair, What's their next? What's there to fight about?
Yeah, that's where the kids make things funky.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay. Adam Driver is 6'3". Robert De Niro is 5'7". That's so. Adam Driver is my height. That makes me feel cool.
Did you show the numbers from Ford Coppola there?
We got distracted, so we got some more numbers. 1, 2, 3 numbers. Francis F. Coppola.
Yeah. So this is adjusted for inflation.
That's what the F stands for, right? Inflation.
Yeah. Those top 4, I mean, Dracula isn't that big a deal. The Godfathers 1 and 2, and Apocalypse Now, again, adjusted for inflation. If you look at the real numbers, these aren't anywhere close to that. But 852 for Godfather. This is all just domestic too. Yeah. 347 Apocalypse Now, 330 Godfather 2, 213 for Bram Stoker's Dracula, and then you get to like something like The Outsiders, which is 87 million, and Megalopolis is at.
You want a little robot there? Start over, CP.
One more time.
You want a little robot for a second? Say that one more time.
Which one? Outsiders at 87 million, or Megalopolis at 4 million?
Ooh, so just barely outside of that one.
God, that's such a huge drop. Like, I can't even.
Well, no. I didn't cover things like Jack, because when I think of Francis Ford Coppola, as much as people will, put his films like Jack and like like Grace said before, Twixt. He's done other stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot more heavy hitters than Megalopolis. But like, these are the movies that I think of, as far as his reputation is concerned, and I don't think, short of the top three there, Godfather, Godfather 2, Apocalypse Now, I don't think he's what you would call a money-making filmmaker.
No. It's crazy to me that Apocalypse Now made more than Godfather did. I never thought. I guess I just assumed that the Apocalypse Now didn't do that great at the box office. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, I don't know. With Joker coming out this week, I don't think it's going to get any better for it at all.
Yeah,
not wrong.
I'm assuming 4 million's not gonna give it much. I'm assuming it's gonna drop off from opening weekend. So now, granted, I'm wrong about everything, but I'm assuming we're not seeing it in top 10 next week. But perhaps I'm wrong. I definitely want to see this one. I'd like to see it in theaters, but I've been a little lazy. I spent too much time with the robot.
Do you think
this is the year of box office doing wild and wacky shit? So who knows? Maybe it'll make 6 million this weekend. It won't, but I would be happy. It
didn't make its 50, and if it's independent, it doesn't really matter. Do you think this time next week it's? Oh wait, excuse me. No, in 2 weeks, do you think it is available on VOD?
Which VOD? Who would he partner with?
Well, I mean, he might sell it. Like, if he's the one to make money on it, he maybe even internationally. I don't know. Like, I don't know when you're the distributor yourself, like what the benefit is there, because you're making a hell of a lot more of that money than you are on movie tickets. So, like, especially if it has another week like this, say he does 2.5 million next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to find money elsewhere, right?
He could start making wine again.
I mean, yeah, it kind of depends. Was this all part of the plan? And he planned on, not only funding the movie, funding the advertising, but then funding this theater run that's only going to gain momentum. Yeah. Maybe he's a marketing genius, and I'm just totally wrong.
I mean, it's also possible he just doesn't care how much money it makes. He made his movie. He seems very proud of it in the state that it's in. So maybe that's all he needs. Like, he's an old school artist, man. Like, who gives a fuck about the dollar?
That's a lot of money to drop on it. I'm assuming he would want something back so that he could, possibly make another one if he ever wants to again. But I don't know. You're right. He seems very proud of it. That's awesome.
Do you know who was a really good filmmaker?
Me.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Hitchcock's okay. Hitchcock's okay.
Hitchcock started in marketing. So if ever there were a person that knew how to, like,
thanks so much, Marcy. Love you, buddy.
The marketing for Psycho, they'll never do that ever again, where he wouldn't let people in if you showed up late. Like, he made it a point to tell people that you're not getting in if you show up late. And like, that's such a, can you imagine? Because it's Universal. Can you imagine Universal being like, yeah, no, if they come 10 minutes late, they're going in.
Well, there was a theater chain in LA. It might have been outside of LA too. I think it was mostly in LA. ArcLight. You guys ever heard of those before? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of their big things was, we don't let you in after the trailers have started. I mean, I don't know if it was like a good thing or a bad thing that they did it, but they did it. Go ahead.
I think that's the future. I think people paying like $1 or $2 extra to not have phones and, have some sort of strict policy. I think at least a handful of theaters will try doing it, just to, because I mean, if I were watching Megalopolis, I would not want phones. I would not want some sort of Gen Z aspect to it.
That's hilarious.
Kind of makes sense.
However,
actually, one of the first movies in a while I whipped out my phone in, because there was a couple of scenes where it's just like, wait, who's this actor? Where have I seen them in? But like, because like what was happening on the screen didn't really, in like the theater I was in was like, I know I'm a bad person. I'm a bad person. But like,
you're one of those people. Not only did you show up late, but you whipped it out. Your phone, that is.
I whipped everything out.
That's why I want to watch it at home, by the way.
That's fair.
Look something up on IMDb. What?
EBDB.
Yeah. But another thing that would get me to the theaters is probably pickleball.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to that. But you kind of mentioned like a premium experience. Like it does seem like, I would pay extra for that, possibly for no children in the theater as well. I've had a few ruined recently with the screaming kids that the parents didn't want to take the kid out of the theater for some reason. But
they do it with the airports now, right? Well, certain flights where you can pay a no kid fee, right?
I think so. I've never ridden one of those. I'm not in the premium section when it comes to flying, but
nor am I.
But it kind of sounds like the theater. Like they don't let you in if you're late. Like you're in the restroom or whatever, and intermission ends. Like guess what? You're kind of stuck out there, and try using your phone in there. You might be asked kindly to leave. So I don't know. Bring that premium experience to a movie theater. I wouldn't hate that.
I think it'd be interesting. Like I never let go. My screening of it would not shut the fuck up. There's so many different people just talking the entire time, and I don't think it would have improved my opinion of the movie if it was really quiet. Because the movie still got issues, but it was noticeable. I
think that Gen Z is really single-handedly forcing themselves out of the film-going experience. And if studios were to realize that, hey, you know what, that 17 to 24 audience, they're not interested, and people around them don't want to be there with them. So maybe we just don't focus on them anymore and stop trying to have every movie make $1 billion and, scale back a little bit and realize, hey, maybe we go back to the time where 100 million is really good.
I remember South Park in like the mid 2000s. There's an episode where Cartman's like pretending to be a robot, and like he somehow gets in like the meeting with the executives of some movie studio, and they're like, "Robot, give us 100 movies that will guaranteed get $100 million opening weekend." And he just starts lifting off basic ideas with Adam Sandler, but just like this was like 2005, and like $100 million was like the big thing, and now here we are in 2024, and $100 million doesn't mean anything. A little nutty.
Graveyard asks, I was born in 97, wants to know what generation. I think 97 makes you 27, so you're millennial, right?
I think so. I'm so bad with these.
An old millennial? I'm a young millennial. No, I'm an old millennial.
So he's a young millennial.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think it might be the other way around. I think
an old Gen Z.
I'm not sure. I meant the young millennial, old millennial thing.
Yeah, my body's that of a boomer.
I think I'm a young millennial.
Oh, by the way, I just want to point this out because this is awesome. Adam Driver as Rambo? What do we think about that?
I can actually see that. I wouldn't hate that. Obviously, he'd have to bulk up a little bit, but he's kind of beefy, but he's not Stallone beefy. But we could get him there. That'd be awesome.
He's Darth Chest. He's not Emperor Chest. If he became Emperor Chest, then he could probably pull it off. Like,
I don't know where we went.
I'm referencing in The Last Jedi when he had his shirt off, and it was like a super sexy moment for Rey because she's like, "Oh, I'm like into this guy," and he's got like his shirt on.
Thumbs up in the chat if you want to have more Adam Driver chest talk. Also, thumbs up in the chat if you'd like us to not talk about Adam Driver.
But by the way, so we talked about Adam Driver being possibly the strongest of the new Star Wars. What about Daisy Ridley? Has she really done much else? Like, I know she did a few things before Star Wars. I've never seen them though.
No.
I haven't followed her career too closely, but yeah, I haven't seen a bunch of things from then. I guess that's from then on, I should say. I guess that's one of the big problems with being kind of the face of a trilogy. Like, you're seen as that. I think, Mark Hamill suffered from that for quite a while after that. It's like, you're Luke. And
then he found his niche in, voiceover work. So maybe there's some place for her.
Are you discounting some of his live action work? I mean, he was in that amazing Stephen King cat werewolf one, whatever that was. Now I'm forgetting the name of it. It's quite great. Yeah, somebody gets stabbed with a corn cob. It's great.
Okay, I'm looking that
It's
up.
called like Sleepwalkers or something like that. It's taking me a minute.
Alright. I know she was in that Chaos Walking movie with Spider-Man, but I heard
that was bad.
I heard that was
bad.
unwatchable, so I skipped that one.
The one thing I've heard is that the movie that she was just in about someone who swims across something is quite decent.
I did hear good things about that, actually.
I did actually see that one. That was pretty good. I totally forgot that was her. Yeah, she wasn't bad. Now I'm forgetting the lady's name, but yeah, it wasn't a bad biopic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of people that have done Star Wars and like done other things that could match that. Like Harrison Ford really maintained that big budget star thing. Carrie Fisher didn't. Like she had some I think she did better as a writer after that. And you know, she was a script doctor for a little bit.
Not funny.
Great
cameo in Scream 3.
I don't think Daisy Ridley's is she even 30 yet?
Yeah, because she was also in Scream 3. No.
So
I'm assuming she's older than that, but I could be wrong.
She's young 30s, I would assume. Because Force Awakens, it was only 9, 8, 10 years
32.
ago. Yeah, there's still time. I mean, if Demi Moore is playing 50, she's got 30 years at least.
Also, she's 5'7", tall lady.
Why do you come with weird facts? What is her height?
Weird facts are fun.
I'm sorry, what's your height,
totally
bro? Let's see who's got more height.
That previously mentioned one with Luke Skywalker and at Mark Hamill. I think I called it Sleepwalker. It's Sleepwalkers. I was totally way off on that, but he plays a sheriff in it. It's great. I think he's the one that gets killed with a corn cob. Spoilers.
Oh, he better be. That'd be incredible.
But yeah, sorry. How tall is Daisy Ridley?
5'7". Just for fun.
Okay.
You know, in case anyone cared.
Nice.
What's her budget?
Oh, now I want to know. Here's Ford height. 6'1". Okay, never mind. For some reason, I thought he was shorter than that.
Thank God, guys. You can sleep well at night knowing that Harrison Ford is 6'1".
I'm actually going to change the name to this live stream after we finish live to Harrison Ford is 6'1".
So the next, October unofficially and I guess officially is like spooky film season.
Indeed.
And for streaming networks like Paramount Plus, this is the time where you take something that is part of a popular franchise and have some sort of prequel, sequel, reboot, quill thing. Last year, Paramount Plus had Pet Sematary Bloodlines. And you know, all the great horror movies, if their title is Bloodlines, awesome stuff. And this year was Apartment 7A, which is a Rosemary's Baby prequel.
It's how the baby was made. It's a porno.
Kind of interquill. Like it's weird, but it's kind of in the middle of it too.
It's a sideways quill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sideways quill.
Side mission.
Paranormal Activity 2 was kind of like that, where it's like it's before, during, and then after Paranormal Activity 1.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda.
But it didn't come out 58 years after the first one, so there's a slight difference.
Or did it?
He's got a point.
So
but it's good though. It seems like you guys liked it. Oh, did you not like it? Did I make assumptions? I apologize.
I don't know that we're necessarily like the best audience for it. I'm speaking for Charles now, which is never a great thing, but we happened to speak the other day, and it doesn't seem like he's totally in love with the original one, and I also was just not enamored with it. I get what they're doing. Maybe it's the fact that I saw it parodied like a million times, and then I saw people's kind of other take on it, and I think a lot of those kind of go further with the kind of pregnant woman horror, possible devil child. So I don't know. I was never the biggest fan of the original Rosemary's Baby. I understand the appeal of it, but I don't know. I came to it very late, and the whole Roman Polanski thing was already out there. So I don't know. I always looked at it as kind of, I guess, tainted fruit, if you will. So I don't know. I might not be the best person to judge this particular one. I wasn't crying that I need a sequel for this, and sorry if I put words in your mouth, Charles, but
No,
you weren't the biggest fan of the original either, were you?
no, you pretty much, without me using 55 words, you nailed it in a sentence or two. Yeah, I was raised in a Catholic family, and there was movies like The Omen and Rosemary's Baby, and Exorcist 2. These were like big movies that were like super scary to them because of their faith. And when I was a kid, my uncles were kind of like my older brothers without being my older brothers, but they were into like Terror Train, Friday the 13th, all this like weird, not weird, but like very, I don't know, straightforward horror, not much to it. And I kind of like, I don't know, by proxy enjoyed it as well, and chose to go towards that. And having said that, even as an adult, Omen didn't really catch on with me. The Exorcist is probably the one where I'm like,
really?
That's really good.
Not even the I did it for you, Damien part? Come on, like that is one of the most haunting parts in cinema.
Yeah. It is haunting, but I just doesn't hit me like that.
Okay. Then can I ask, what about the kid in Pet Sematary? Does the original like Gage really get you, or
in the street?
No, like more like under the bed. Like I don't know, something about that kid is just the creepiest kid in cinema to me. But maybe I'm wrong. But I found The Omen close. Damien had powers.
I thought the scene where Gage gets rolled over with a truck was the shot that they have, having the camera in the middle of the street when the kid goes and picks up his toy or whatever. That was brutal. But movies like The Omen, again, I won't say Exorcist, because that, like, I'm all right with that, even as an adult, obviously. Rosemary's Baby was just something that I watched it as a kid, didn't really jibe with it too much. I think I watched it again in film school, and then again maybe 10 years ago. I think I own the the Criterion edition or something.
Oh, wow.
And it's just something that, as much as I'd like to, I want to enjoy it, I don't. So there's that. And then watching this, there's nothing to it. Like it feels like a song I've heard before, and it's a song that I don't care about. I don't know who this is for. Granted, if you're like a big time Rosemary's Baby fan, maybe this is awesome to get more lore from that universe. But the dancer, like Gray brought up, there's something that happens in the movie that because it happens in Rosemary's Baby. And I mean, oh, is that what you're talking about, Gray? The ending?
I'm not exactly certain. I kind of lost my own train of thought there.
But, I'm sorry. Yeah, I scattershot everything I'm doing anyway. The ending of Apartment 7A, is that your link to The Omen? Is that what you were? The final.
It wasn't.
Okay.
Now that you mention that, now I'm kind of seeing one. But no, I thought The Omen is like one of the creepy kid movies. Like, what can I say? There's like two of them that kind of stand out to me, and that's one of them. So I just thought that would be a little bit more on your radar. But.
Okay. Yeah. The moment at the end of Apartment 7A, I was like, son of a bitch, it's a shame I'm not more invested in this, because that was a really, really brave way to just end things. But I don't like it. If you haven't seen Rosemary's Baby and you have interest, I would be curious to know what happens if you watch this first. But I don't know who's the target audience for this. Is it you?
No, I've actually never seen Rosemary's Baby.
Oh,
so I, if you guys pay me, I will volunteer my time to watch Apartment 7A first, and then Rosemary's Baby, and report back next week.
You
okay?
Thank God you're AdSense is working, Lindsay, so that's I could just give you a super chat right now.
Too bad. The system hates me, but we're getting there. I crossed 500 hours this week.
Wait,
for the
yeah.
for the last like 90 days, which is up. I think it's like 1600% from the previous 90 days. I'll take 1600% increase.
We're getting there.
Yeah,
What is
your?
What is the time you need to have?
I haven't looked it up because I'm terrified to see what it is. I know it was 1,000 hours with it in the year when I got it the first time.
I think it's 4,000 now.
Either way, I mean, I'm getting there.
I mean, for the year, that's
get
not
there.
too bad. Yeah.
If I just start live streaming me, just watching movies for 8 hours a day, and one person watches it, hey, that's
Dude, just do Q&As and things. Just
that's true.
It racks up.
We need to know.
Or A's and Q's, or I ask the audience questions and they give me the answer.
Just have a giant shark Q&A. I'm sorry.
I could just play Minecraft for hours. My Minecraft character skin is a shark skin.
That's too, yeah. Gaming, that'll get the watch hours up. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Marcy says Zoe Saldana played Rosemary in a Rosemary's Baby 2 remake sequel series.
It was a miniseries. I have never heard anything about this, but that sounds a little bit more up my alley than what we got here.
That's funny because Zoe Saldana is like a money. She's box office credit.
Yeah,
and she's in like everything that's huge. So to not hear this is like, wait, what?
Honestly, she just needs to be in Star Wars, and I think she's in the ultimate $1 billion actor club. Or was
she's
the
highest grossing female.
Is she actually? I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah, you think about it. Avatar, the Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
Fair enough. She is in like every franchise.
Yeah, and Marvel. Yep.
So she was in Endgame.
She does quite well for herself. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Endgame is a $3 billion movie because of Zoe Saldana.
Listen, if Samuel Jackson gets credit for the stuff,
yeah, love you, Graveyard. Let's do it, buddy. I'll be there, Lindsay, since I watched 5 movies today. We can do it together. Boom. Let's make it happen.
It looks like we might have misinterpreted from what Marcy's saying. No 2-part miniseries, 2 episodes. So I think that means not the second. It was just like a remake, 2-part thing.
All right.
Cool.
Well, still
could be wrong.
Again, she's
either way fascinating.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I love seeing like actors before they get huge. Like Die Hard 2 is one of my favorite movies for that because you got Robert Patrick pre Terminator 2, and you have a guy who was about to explode in Star Trek, Cole Meany, who was a huge part of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then even bigger part about Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. It's like they're both just in that movie randomly. Sorry, fun fact.
Mm-hmm. That's why I like Friday the 13th because Kevin Bacon's in there. I'm like, oh, right on, nice.
It's a good performance.
Yeah, so like it's kind of shocking because when I think of Zoe Saldana, there's nothing that I can name you where it's like, oh, that sucked. She's a pretty steady actress. And I'm not saying it's all based on her, but her agent does a hell of a lot more for her than Adam Driver's does for him.
I might have one, but I need to double check. But I agree with you for the most part. But you know me, I like to shit on people's points.
Avatar should just be named Cash Grab.
Cash Grab the movie.
Yep.
You're not
and
wrong.
They're going to keep making more.
And then Marcy coming in hard with Die Hard 2 is way, way, way better. With Die Hard 5, everything is. I don't know. Die Hard 5 is... Nah, Die Hard 5 is pretty bad.
So, Gray, did you say how long it was after you... Or when the last time you watched Rosemary's Baby was?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I rewatched it this last weekend in kind of preparation for this. Okay. I don't think I mentioned that at all, but I wanted to make sure that I remembered it, and yeah, I remembered it for the most part. I was kind of doing other things. I didn't just like sit there and completely
have it on the
like,
background.
kind of, which I hate doing that to films, but since I've seen it many times before, I kind of assumed I could do that. But yeah, I just wanted to try and get myself kind of in the same mood because I just couldn't think what a prequel, interquel, whatever the hell you want to call it, like 50 years later would be like.
I love that word so much. Interquel. I don't know why. Sorry, keep going.
So I just didn't know exactly what to expect of that, but I wasn't exactly happy with it. There was a lot more singing and dancing than I had expected, but fair enough. It kind of makes sense, but
wait, is this also a surprise musical?
Sort of.
In a way.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not bad, but it's just I don't think it's for me is the thing. So I don't know. With me not loving the first one and not kind of getting the hype completely, I don't know that everything about this is like perfect for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a bad flick. It is not one of the worst horror ones I've seen this year, but I don't know. It does have kind of a flashy end, which I did appreciate, but I feel like almost everything else in there I've kind of seen before.
I think it's weird that, like, I don't know what the business model is, because it seems like Paramount Plus is trying to be the more upscale version of Shudder, which is kind of like cheapo horror streaming.
Okay.
But if they were to do that, because they have Smile 2 coming out in 2 weeks, why not put Smile 2 on your streaming and fuck around with something like Apartment 7A? Like, I don't understand, because like last year, the Pet Cemetery thing that they just put on streaming, it's bad. I don't know what, like, if you're making this stuff and you know you don't have confidence in it, what the fuck are you doing to begin with?
Wait, question. Is this the same... thank you. Is it the same Pet Cemetery remake from like 3 or 4 years ago, or is it a new one?
No, it's a sequel to the remake. No, it's a prequel to the remake.
You're talking Bloodlines, right?
That got released in theaters.
Yeah. No, so the 2018 remake
18. That's what it was. Okay, thank you.
has a prequel,
Mhm.
and it got released to streaming last year called Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. And I think it's actually on Prime now at this point.
Wild.
That much faith.
That movie was bad.
They don't even have it for this year.
Yeah.
That is weird.
I remember liking the little girl who became the zombie. I thought she was kind of fun, but God, that movie was bad.
It was a bit interesting what they did with that.
Right?
Yeah, no, didn't we like live stream
remake,
watch
right.
the original together?
The original, right?
Yeah. I think we both laughed our asses off at the moment when the mom's just like, "Oh, your dogs don't come back from the dead because you buried it in the graveyard." What is this exposition moment here?
Sorry, Greg, we both stepped on you there.
Apologize.
Oh, I love that one. Just the best main accents ever. Like when I think of it, it's just, that is like the quintessential main accent. Like sometimes dead is better. I love it. But yeah, what was it with like Bloodlines? It seems like for a while every like new remake just had to have Bloodline in the title. I feel like there's like 5 or 6 different horror ones that all somehow have Bloodline in there.
And I watched 4 of them last year because Hellraiser had Bloodline. Shit, I've drawn a blank. See how many there are? Hellraiser, Wrong Turn, Pet Cemetery was one of them. Who are the other 2 movies? Hellraiser, Bloodline. Excuse me, Hellraiser.
Omen?
No, shit. What was the 4 things we covered last year? Hellraiser. It wasn't Saw. Hellraiser, Wrong Turn.
Oh, okay.
Hellraiser, Wrong Turn. I can't think of the 3rd one. What the fuck? Well, anyway, Hellraiser, Wrong Turn, and Pet Cemetery all happened within that 1 month of me watching it. Not like it's just for that time. It was, those movies are far apart from one another, but I ended up watching them
So how long till we get a
so-
horror movie whose name is Bloodline, and then they make a sequel to
It already
called
exists.
Bloodline, so it's Bloodline.
So it already kind of exists, and there's also already Bloodline Killer. So
Oh,
you know, they're making new waves.
all right.
But we got kind of an interesting question from Raiders AK.
Mhm.
Is Casino the film any good? Got to watch it tonight for Movie Club tomorrow. Thank
The
you in advance.
Scorsese film?
That is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
alright.
what I was going to ask is, where do you guys put Casino? You know, I think a lot of people put it under Goodfellas or whatever, but I'm real partial to Casino. I really like that one.
Felix, if you've never seen it, take it in, man. That's you're gonna have quite a treat tonight. Actually, you know what? It sucks. You're gonna hate watching it.
Yeah, it's been too long since I've seen it for me to really compare it to Goodfellas. But it's a good damn movie. Like it's
So good.
It's
Like,
the
there's-
spiritual sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Mhm.
have De Niro and Pesci just essentially being their same characters, sort of.
I like this Pesci a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, for reasons.
You make me pop your eye out of your fucking head to protect Charlie M. Sorry.
you gotta love
You
Joe
put
Joe
your
Pesci.
shoes-
Like he'll just be like the most violent asshole in some crime movie, and then he'll go and do like My Cousin Vinny or a Home Alone, and he's like this bumbling, like lovable goof. Like bro's got range.
Yeah. Felix, depends on how you feel about the Scorsese
Mhm.
mob movies, but I would love to
Yeah, I
watch it for the
forgot.
first time.
So
I
I
just
saw
saw the,
Casino after I saw Mafia, the spoof movie.
No.
Like it's not,
Ooh.
yeah, Mafia's not great, but it was funny watching it afterwards. Be like, oh, so this is where all those. Okay, no, I'm putting it all together now.
I mean, as far as Jay Moore movies go, that one's it's not towards the bottom of his career.
Thief.
But yeah, so Logan points out that Final Destination next year is doing Final Destination Bloodlines.
Wow.
Oh my
So,
god.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going there too with that
It appears to
franchise.
be the horror film shortcut to
But is
Name it
Devon
Bloodline.
Sawa coming back? Who knows?
I mean, it's his bloodline. I'm assuming, right?
It could be.
He got someone pregnant before he died. Whichever one. The first one was the first
It's-
one.
It's weird. I feel like it's a trope naming horror movies bloodlines, but at the moment I can't name you 5, and I feel like there's a ton. So me
I
and
feel
my
like it too.
my
We'll get a
short-term
list next time.
shitty
We'll prepare.
brain. Yeah, we need notes. We need bullet points to bring to work.
Well, I've got something
Head
here
note.
for you.
Go.
Oh my god, title name matching bloodlines. Sorted by popularity on IMDb. First off, Bloodlines. Second off, Final Destination Bloodlines 2025. Third,
Mhm.
Pet Cemetery Bloodlines. 4, Wrong Turn
Mhm.
Bloodlines. 5, Bloodline Killer. 6, Hellraiser Bloodline.
Yeah,
7, just
there's like
Bloodline
three.
again. 8, Bloodline again. Day of the Dead Bloodline. Tremors 5
Oh.
Bloodline.
Yes, I forgot both of those franchises did that too. Damn
Day
it.
of the Dead.
I should have been able to pull both of those.
Sorry, bud. That's a $1. Come on, cough it up.
I know, my bad.
And just for fun, because it's not a horror movie, Wonder Woman Bloodlines.
Oh,
Hmm.
might as
No
well
idea
be
what
a
that's
horror
about.
movie. All right, so maybe I don't know. Maybe it's just because I saw 3 Bloodline movies in 1 month. And I was just like, can you get creative?
Three's a
with them?"
lot. I mean, it's okay. It's not like a lot, but it's weird that it happened 3 times.
Yeah,
I just
when
feel
we,
like they just kind of go to that well when they don't have creativity. It's like, why not Bloodline? You know, then we can get in like the family.
yeah, I don't know.
What was it a few years ago? Like Rise of the Guardians, Rise of the Owls of Gahul. It's like every
That was a
few
great
years.
film.
Oh, it was.
Do not besmirch the Owls of Gaul.
Unironically, one of Snyder's best movies. I actually really like that movie. Sorry, I was going my brain here. I'm just thinking about the graceful owls now.
I think sometimes it just happens by accident. Like last year when we did our Halloween movies for the horror movies for October, those bloodlines were there. This year, there's two scenes that I have very distinctly have like. Granted, other things happened in these movies, but I focused on the fact that in both Us and Smile, someone gives themselves a Chelsea smile, and I was like,
it is fashionable.
They cut themselves in the face.
Oh, gotcha. Yes. Yeah.
But we
those
didn't
are things that
we didn't say, hey, let's make a list full of Chelsea Smile movies. It just happens to be a theme.
I don't know if you guys know the song Chelsea Daggers by the Fratellis, but every time you say Chelsea Smile, I keep hearing that in my head each time you say that. Damn, yeah, no, I honestly, I'm getting excited for Smile too. Like, I know we kind of keep like, but I'm down, you know? You're not digging it, Sequel?
You come out here. We can go on the 15th. I have a spare ticket to a screener.
I might be down. I'll just show up. Just be like, let's go. I won't even warn you. Just won't let you put your face on
We all
first.
heard the invitation. Be expecting him.
That's true.
That's awesome.
I'll pick up great. It'll be a whole road trip. It's gonna be great.
I only have one extra ticket. One of you has got to stay.
We'll do the trench coat. We got this.
Oh my gosh. Trench coat and the fedora, and whoever's on the bottom is wearing a fedora too, just in case, you know.
You never know.
Yeah, I'm not very excited for Smile 2 because Smile was such a surprise for me, and I don't know. It doesn't, just like no buzz around it.
It is a little weird that after like the massive success that the first one had, that there's not like, maybe they don't want to, like, maybe this is entirely me being optimistic. Maybe they don't want to overhype it, but that's also counterintuitive to being marketing to not want to overhype the movie.
Dude, Fantastic Fest happened last week.
That's true.
And they didn't premiere it there. That's weird.
That is weird.
Like Terrifier 3 premiered at Fantastic Fest. What is your problem? Why won't you do that?
Makes me wonder if I'm right about my theory about it's going to end with the entire world getting cursed. Like, which that could be a good ending. It just depends on how they do it.
It doesn't, I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't to me feel like they're trying to keep it under wraps for the sake of word of mouth.
Maybe.
It just doesn't feel that way.
Logan's pointing out in his comment that I've got high hopes for Smile 2 since hearing some reactions from the screeners. That's awesome. Okay. I have heard no reaction to it at all. I've just seen kind of the absence of reaction. So that actually really excites me. I hope that's going to be good. I haven't heard enough about it. To be honest, it seems like it's a very low swell for this, where, I thought the first one was amazing. I would have thought there would be much more buzz, especially Fantastic Fest. But I do like the ones that I've heard are amazing from Fantastic Fest. I'm way more excited for some of those.
Manny, I'm excited for Smile too. Yeah, there's a little bit of hype for it. Maybe they're trying to recreate the success of Megalopolis and not really advertise it very much.
I'm trying to think of the horror movies that come out, the thriller horror movies that come out this month. I don't think it's going to match Terrifier 3 as far as like mojo is concerned.
It seems to have the most buzz, but I don't know. There's some interesting ones that are going to be around. I think Heretic is actually in November, but there's some interesting ones. Did you see that weird Nick Frost one that's coming out in a couple days? Crazy House.
Oh, I did hear something about.
I don't know if that's going to get a lot of attention, but I'm intrigued.
I think so. But it looks crazy as hell. It's like Adult Swim meets I don't know what, but it looks kind of fun. I think it's coming to like Prime this week. I know Amazon has something to do with it, and it's going to streaming this week. So I had no idea about that till like 24 hours ago, and I'm really excited to see that thing. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, look at this. Christian Nichols, thank you very, very much for the super chat. I'm late to the chat. Can someone give me a definition of a bloodline? Also, do you think horror is coming back? Horror is universal, man. It's never going nowhere. Like it's always here as far as
I think horror has been its strongest in the last decade or so.
It's been a very good few years for horror.
I would prefer to be in horror now than comedy. You know, it seems like you know, horror movies they have some marketability, and you know, they at least get some buzz. And they take. I love what I'm hearing about The Substance, and maybe those performances will actually be recognized, but we'll see.
And they take chances too in horror, which you can't really say that for comedy right now. At all.
Part of the issue with comedy these days, at least for me, is I feel like they just let out. They never go with like a super solid script anymore for comedies. It's always just improvise, and that's I love improv. I've done more improvising than any other form of acting. I did an improvised murder mystery show for a year or so in Hollywood, and I adore improv. But there's a time and there's a place.
We don't have a Richard Pryor for this generation. Someone who can write for a film and perform in a film.
I think you're cutting Matt Rife off at the knees here. I mean, he was in that movie Don't Suck. It's just his start, but come on, give him some time.
Matt Rife. I've never even heard of this guy before.
He's like 22, the bastard. No, he's young. He's a young comic who's.
Oh, he's got that jawline though. He's smexy. Okay.
Jesus. Keep it in your pants.
So that's what America sees in him for the most part.
Also, Jacob Benson, our ongoing producer. Thank you very much, sir.
Producing yet another episode. Thank you, sir.
The Jacob Benson Show.
Pretty much.
Another weekly episode of Jacob Benson.
I adore this. I think he said it's from the Wax Museum. I love his profile picture, too. So that always makes me happy.
No, seriously, there has been good horror.
I could not.
Oh, he made a joke about Black Christmas 2019 was from this decade. So no. Yeah. Black Christmas 2019 is a very, very special case.
I think 2014. You know, as of this year, which is now the next decade. I think starting with movies like It Follows, there was a bunch of like indie horror. There was this movement of things where you didn't have to have a mascot in your movie to have decent horror stuff, and a lot of the the art house stuff really did well. Like Babadook, I don't know if that's before or after. The Guest was kind of something. In the beginning it was like, all right, can we just not have these 80s synth movies? But that kind of died off. It Follows, The Guest, Babadook, Hereditary, these movies that they had a hell of a lot more to say, and they were still pretty fucking scary. And then, you had stuff like Halloween 2018, Those movies did so well, like on the financial aspect, that you're getting as hard, like Gray said, if you're a horror fan, you're getting a lot of choice and you're getting things that you want, whereas comedy, less so.
Like we always talk about game night. Has there been like another super solid, like script-based, not improvised comedy movie since Game Night? I think Blockers qualifies for that, but I also think I'm only. Your face says it all. I love Blockers, but I know you don't like Blockers, Charles.
I'm forgetting Unfrosted, the Seinfeld Pop Tart movie. Come on, man, it gets no love. There's a bunch of them. They're just kind of small. They go to streaming. Like Ricky Stenicki was really surprising to me. Again, speaking of blockers, this does have your favorite John Cena in it, but it's kind of a fun, weird take on a raunchy comedy. I would recommend it if you're looking for something funny and stupid. It is both.
Also, I completely forgot. Good Boys or Good Kids, the Jacob Tremblay movie. You know what I'm talking about? That movie's fucking hilarious.
It is. It is.
I think I need to check that out. I don't know which one you're talking about.
Great. That might like salvage your opinion of comedy films, because it's three kids and they're in like an adult R-rated comedy, and it's pretty funny how it catches you by surprise. I think that too is on Prime right now.
There's a great sequence where they need to get across a freeway, and it's like, man, I felt that as a kid. Like sometimes a freeway would just be the biggest obstacle for you.
They come across these items that they don't know what they are, and it's very funny. It's very funny how they don't know anything about anything, and it has a sweet little thing at the end there.
It does. And it's Jacob Tremblay. Like, who doesn't love Jacob Tremblay? Like, dude's amazing. Like, by the way, Christian Nichols, $4.99. Thank you so much, my friend. How do I become a member of this channel? Which channel are you watching on? And I'm also not an expert on members anyway, so I'm going to let Charles, hot potato.
Thank you, Christian. We're at the moment we're trying to get Lindsay the Watch Hour so that he could be qualified for things like channel memberships and AdSense. On my channel, it should be. I think you are one, aren't you, Christian? It should be like where the chat is. It's like a cash logo, or I don't know.
I'm assuming
Jacob, you know how to do it.
I'm assuming he's asking on Lindsay's channel. And the thing is, you're doing your part. If you're watching it from Lindsay's channel, you're giving him the hours, and then eventually we'll be able to get memberships on this channel. So,
dude, I've got a catalog of 190 videos. If you just want to watch those on repeat, like even if you leave the house, just like watch them, leave them running, like that's the greatest membership you could give me right now.
Then you could do even more than your part. You could do everybody else's part.
I think you might be able to set up supers anyway. Because didn't Kidda have that, Gray, before she was properly?
I think they did like this half monetization thing. I'm not sure exactly. I'm a small time YouTuber. I know nothing here. It's all lies.
It's all lies.
Yeah. I don't know if you've looked on the back end at all recently, so there might be some way to at least set up super or super.
This week, I discovered how to have my logo in the bottom right corner of my videos that goes up when you get like the little YouTube interface. Like, I figured something out. It was so exciting.
It's only been 15 years.
It has not been 15 years. And not that bad. But also, Jacob Benson, I cannot wait for that day, my friend.
And speaking of Jacob Benson, I think we missed a very special one from Jacob Benson, producer of the show.
Did we do it?
But yeah. Good evening, guys. Right under Christian Nichols one. Just got back from celebrating my 34th birthday.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! And that was at a rock festival in Louisville, Kentucky. Side topic question: what's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
That's a great question, actually.
I got mine off the top of my head. It was my birthday in, I think it was 2018, so a few years ago. But Death from Above 1979 is just so amazing, and they did their Outrageous Now album, and it was just so amazing. Everything was like spot on. I was involved in a fight, ended it. It was great. Just front row. Everything was just couldn't have been better. It was the perfect evening. I don't think that one can be beat, but man, what about you, Lindsay? You've had time to think. Best concert ever.
Actually, the last year or so, I keep talking about how it's been too long since I've been to a really big, awesome concert, so I need to fix that. But I think the ones that I've been to, Green Day in high school was super fun for the American Idiot tour. It was within a week. I saw Green Day, and then I saw System of a Down. And the friend that I went with, between the time when we bought the tickets and the shows, really messed up their leg. So the day of the concert, we get there on crutches. So we actually ended up getting dramatically better seats than what we paid for because we got to go in the handicap section. And at one point, I could have given the Green Day bassist, I'll think of his name in a second here, a high five. I was so close. It was a lot of fun. Since then, I was hanging out with someone who used to work for a symphony for a while, so they called them concerts, seeing like movies with like a live orchestra doing the music for the
That's
movie
awesome.
as it's playing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Indiana Jones, Vertigo, the original, well, not the original, I think it was like the second, because it was like 5. I think it was the second black and white Ben-Hur. That was fun as hell. So I've seen some interesting ones. It's been a minute, but I've seen some fun ones. What about you, Charles?
So I got hurt relatively early in my life.
Oh, no.
But the one that certainly is the most noteworthy, I was a kid when it happened, but Alice in Chains opening for Van Hagar is pretty
That's pretty sick.
Just to tell people that show is pretty. Like, I don't remember it that well, but I was there. I was there, man.
I mean, that's a good one, man.
Yeah, I've never seen Van Hagar. That'd be pretty cool.
The last concert, the last concert I was at was a Deftones concert where Limp Bizkit opened for them.
Nice.
That was a little silly, 20 years ago. It was like, what? Because Limp Bizkit got huge in the early 2000s. But yeah, I got my ass kicked at that concert. That wasn't as much fun. I like music. I don't like getting my fucking dick kicked in.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I haven't done it enough. Maybe I just haven't had the right kick.
Show business is a kink shame free zone, sir. So like, if you like, you don't need to worry. You're good.
I mean, yeah. Sometimes those are memorable ones. Like, I remember a concert where I got my ass kicked. The guy had like one of those rings that connects all four fingers, so it's essentially like brass knuckles, and just the sound of my nose popping was just it's unforgettable. It was great.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a permanent reminder.
Yeah, if I'm aware and anticipating it, it's one thing. But like when I'm looking at the stage and I catch an errant fist, that's not fun for me.
Yeah, that seems to be the move. I got tapped on the shoulder, so I looked at the one guy, and his friend just like decked me. And yeah, it was good times. I was talking about just shit. They dedicated their set to the guy that shot Dimebag, so I was yelling at them a lot, and they were a straight edge band that didn't like what I was having to say. So my bad. I brought that on myself.
Yeah, if you're tributing somebody who murdered someone, like that's.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like I've barely thrown a punch. Actually, like I did Taekwondo as a kid, but we always had like sparring gear on and stuff, so I've never actually taken a full-on fist.
I've taken more fists than I've thrown. That's for certain.
Fair.
I'm not sure my ratio, but taking quite a few.
Where are we at right now? I don't even know what the
I
hell.
don't even know.
I think we just finished Apartment 7A.
Yeah,
I don't know. Anything else? Yeah, to me it's kind of meh. I don't see the reason for it, but hey, if you really love that world, this kind of takes you back to it.
Yeah. Watch it at home. Oh wait, you have to.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes in with a lot of those other kind of reboot, whatever you want to call them, that are going straight to streaming. I don't think it's necessarily worse than like Roadhouse, or I'm trying to think of the other one that they kind of did the exact same thing to.
Axel F.
I think there's a. Yes, thank you. That was the other one that I was trying to.
Or
pull. It's
Unfrosted.
I don't know that that's really a remake. It's its own thing. It's a parody movie. You just don't get it. Okay.
It's a remake of Seinfeld's comedic styles from the 90s.
But I don't know. I don't think it shouldn't exist or anything like that. Like, it's not horrible. Just I don't know who the audience is. Much like the Pop-Tart movie. It's like, okay, so if you got like the right stuff references and you get like all the mascot things, how old are you? Like, who is this for? And kind of the same thing with this one. But
who are these people?
By the way, I have one more concert thing. I have to say this because otherwise my friend Shannon will kill me. We went to the Los Angeles County Fair, and the Beach Boys were going to play, and we had front row tickets because her mom she worked with Coke, and so she got cool tickets to events and stuff like that. And then as we're getting settled in and the show's about to start, my buddy Miguel's like, "Wait, is that Uncle Jesse from the Full House?"
I almost interrupted you to ask you if you got full Stamos for this, or if it was just the Beach Boys.
Oh, we did, and it gets worse because both me and Shannon are just like, no, Miguel, no, that's not John Stamos. It was John Stamos. Sorry,
that is awesome.
I just said my friends would kill me if I didn't bring that story up, so I just had to do that.
I've seen Corey Feldman perform, but I've never seen Stamos, so you got one up on me.
I mean, I've never seen Feldman.
It was great.
Yeah,
do yourself a favor. Look up some of his shows. It's pretty amazing.
It's far more entertaining than it is music.
Have you guys ever heard what's his name from Terminator 2, Edward Furlong, singing "People Are Strange"?
No.
I don't think I followed Furlong's music career.
Like Furlong's post-Terminator 2 career isn't exactly prestigious, but it's a very interesting listen if you have a few minutes to kill.
So, Gray, I'm going to bring... thank you for bringing this up. Just a weird segue, because I have a particular feeling about things, and I'm curious to know, does it, as a music performer and as somebody who's probably seen some really good bands in his time, does it bother you that the fact that Edward Furlong did music has some sort of notoriety to it?
No, I mean, like, it kind of makes sense. There's a lot of performers, they want to perform in a bunch of different ways. Like, it seems like a lot of comedians want to be musicians, a lot of musicians want to be comedians. Like, it feels like it goes everywhere. And then, once you get to movies, it's like you're already a performer. Why wouldn't you just get on stage? That's where you get like a Dog Star or any of these other bands. But like, I don't have a problem with Keanu, out there rocking. Do it, man.
Like Hollywood Vampires.
Yeah.
That's Johnny Depp. That wouldn't get a sold out show if it weren't Johnny Depp.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing with Dog Stars, Keanu. Like, I don't know that anyone's really rocking to their music, but hey, it's Keanu. You get to see him go up there and you get to see his chops.
I actually have a really good Dog Star story. A buddy of mine, two buddies of mine, because they're brothers. They were going to direct a documentary about them, and the title was like 5 Dudes You've Never Heard of and Keanu Reeves or something like that. And I saw some of the early footage and like a couple of the cuts. Like, it was honestly really good. I was really excited for it, but then like lawyers, legalities, it all fell apart. But before it did, I hung out with him immediately after a note session with Keanu Reeves. And the entire time, my buddy was just tripping, just being like, okay, so I showed him the footage, and he said this to me verbatim: can you cut down on the screen time for the Keanu character? Keanu said that. He referred to himself as the Keanu character. That's so cool.
Well, you're kind of the only reason why this is getting made.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Like, I don't hate it. There's also like a whole bunch of bands that kind of do it that way. Like, I love Eagles of Death Metal, but the first time that I saw them, I thought, hey, this is Josh Homme's new band. Like, he's in the actual like video. Like, cool. I'm gonna see Homme like play drums now. The guitarist for the Queens of the Stone Age. But he's not really in it. Like, he sort of is. He records with them. He's in the studio, but yeah, it's not his band. But you'd never hear of them. They would just be another band that nobody's ever heard of.
But at the very least, that's a lateral movement within the music industry.
For sure.
I don't know. Like, I seriously have a problem. Like, when someone just tries stand up and people go to check them out because, this singer is going to try stand up because they want to try. The part of me that paid dues and started in front of 4 or 5 people and an empty house, like, this person will not pay those dues, and it really infuriates me. Like, I wish I could start in front of a packed house. What a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm just
I get it, and I do get the bitterness. I'm saying not that you're radiating bitterness. I get that thing.
Oh, so much bitterness.
It does
I can taste it.
It's a cheat code, like, for sure. It is a way to, all of a sudden get your name noticed. But I can't say I wouldn't take that cheat code if I had it. Like, if, suddenly Furlong could be my singer, like, hey, people might actually know what the hell my band's called. But I don't know. I don't hate it. I understand they're playing the game, and I get why they're doing it. I get why the documentary would have been 5 Guys You Never Heard of and Keanu Reeves. They got a point.
Again, I just love that name. 5 Guys You Never Heard of it, Keanu Reeves. It's just such a great
much more important than anything I have to say, Christian Nichols.
Christian, I will definitely binge your channel. What's your thoughts on how to get friends and family to watch older movies or even foreign movies? I'm 25 and it stinks to see friends turned off when I give them the release date. Oh, that's really a bummer.
Yeah, I've experienced that before too. But actually, funnily enough, Charles, I actually end up usually taking a page out of your book and describe the movie to them in a way that, through a movie that I know that they like.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So, like, get them invested in it without talking about the not speaking English thing.
Yeah, I thought about making a video about this, or a short at least. What I did to get used to foreign films was I started watching everything with subtitles on. And if you watch stuff that you like, what I started doing was watch movies that I knew everything by heart. And, you know, you just get used to the subtitles on there and it becomes second nature. And even there was a point, I mean, when Emily was in the room and trying to sleep, it was a lot easier because just turn the volume down and I was able to benefit from not hearing it and I could still read it. And that was also a bit of a shortcut. But I would say, a surprise
cameo from Mama Nonsense.
I would say to certainly to get used to the words on the screen, watch stuff that you know already in English. But the old films, that's difficult because even I would roll my eyes in film school, like when I was supposed to be learning. It's like, it's just black and white. So I think just some of that has to be maturing, I would say. What about you, Gray?
That's a really good answer. I'm kind of coming into this problem. I do another podcast, a very secret podcast with this guy who hates older films, older than like say 2015. So it makes it kind of tough, which a lot of his knowledge isn't extensive because he's never seen anything prior to that, except for what we show him, and he refuses to watch anything in a foreign language because he doesn't want to read a movie. I wish I had.
Also, the movie was good and be an American. I mean, like, what's even?
Got a point. Like, when's the American remake of them? Come on. When is Speak No Evil? Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I think Charles's answer is amazing, and I did that to train myself, not intentionally, just from a long time of being right next to a drummer. I miss some words. So subtitles really help. I dig it. And now I pretty much watch everything with subtitles. But it made it totally seamless when you switch over to a foreign one. And then just from watching so much anime, I love the actual subs over the dubs. A dub can be really fun, but man, there's something to like actually hearing the real performance in there from the subs. So I don't know. It's just great.
And once you get Go ahead, Lindsay. Lindsay, go.
I was going to say the subs versus dubs thing, 100%. Like sometimes if I'm feeling lazy, I'll turn on a dub of an anime, or if it's like an anime, because I've got a few friends that do voice acting. Voiceover. Thank you. If they're in it, obviously I'm going to watch it in English to support my friends. But also, like Cowboy Bebop's English dub is so goddamn good. It's insane.
Some of them are awesome.
That's all I was going to say. But then also, I just want to give a quick shout out to Marcy too, just because he's our boy. I want to try stand up, but I ain't funny, sir. I disagree. You make me laugh on a weekly basis. Okay,
just get popular somewhere else, and then you can just mess around.
There you go.
You don't have to be funny. Just learn how to be insulting. You can do crowd work. It's great. That seems to be all the rage these days.
Or have a really big YouTube channel, and then just go on tour because you're a YouTuber. I did everything backwards, man. I fucked up. But a lot of foreign films that have come out in the last 10 years or so, I'm so grateful that I taught myself or, got myself to watch things with subtitles, because there's a bunch of movies. I was just awestruck when Parasite won for Best Picture a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
That was my favorite movie that year. That never happens where your favorite movie is Best Picture.
Tell me about
favorite movie. Like that's like one of the few years where unequivocally the best movie of the year won. Like I don't think there's anything else that even came close. Sorry, I cut you off there, right?
Oh, I was just saying, tell me about it. Like Barbie, just they deserved it. They did not get it. But sorry, the comment that you just had on up there, the Anton Yelchin was in some punk band. I guess. Is that right? I loved him, and now I'm forgetting the Green Room, which is just amazing. I just watched it again after Charles. I can't remember what we were talking about, but it's like, okay, now I got to watch that, and then that sent me down this weird punk movie wormhole thing that I've been going in recently. But man, was he actually in a band? I totally came to his career late. I wish I had appreciated more of what he was doing when he was doing it.
Yeah, I would love to see him do a musical stuff. I adored Anton Yelchin. His Terminator movie wasn't great, but he was great in it.
I love that movie.
Star Trek. Oh, you know, cool. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you're wrong, but there's nothing wrong with that. He was good in the movie. You know, it's cool.
The only thing wrong is my opinion.
Anton Yelchin was a great actor. Seemed like just a good dude who's just taken way too early. And it's so tragic. You know the story too. There was like an issue with the emergency brake for his car. Like it was like, and there was like a mass recall that was about to happen. It happened like a week earlier. Would have saved his life.
Dude, he also had a disease that he would have died young because he had a disease that limited his life. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if it was a documentary or something, but his mom talked about how he had some sort of disease where I don't think he was supposed to see 50. So it's like it's just rotten, just totally rotten.
Well, you never know. My cousin was born with like a literal hole in her heart, and she wasn't supposed to live past 10, and she's like 40 now. So, you know.
Right on.
You never know. But, damn. Yeah, Anton was dope.
How did we get here?
Sorry. Yeah, no.
I randomly got sidetracked by the cool comment about Antoine Yelchin having a punk band. But, sorry.
No.
Just reminiscing on Green Room. It's great.
I'm trying to think what the hell I suggested it for, because I watched that, I think, in the UK. That's recently.
I think you had suggested Dinner in America. So I watched that. And then we had kind of talked about Green Room.
Yes.
So then it went from there to, I started watching like every punk movie. We had also been talking about Giovanni Ribisi. So I had to bring up his version of Suburbia, the other one.
Oh, wow.
It's all weird. Link later. Good time. But
It's also the link in the chain, brick in the wall. You know, it all just kind of adds up. No, it's another corgi on a leash.
I've seen Rudderless, Cody. Cody says if bringing up Anton Yelchin, you all need to watch Rudderless. I've seen that. Anton Yelchin, another one like Zoe Saldana. I don't know if and they work together in Star Trek. I don't know of a film where he's not good, and if not like B+ or better.
Yeah. 100% agree with that. I'll add Rudderless to the list. I'll watch Apartment 7A and then Rosemary's Baby, and then I'll try and watch Rudderless this week.
Dude, Charlie Bartlett is a top secret, decent movie too. Robert Downey Jr.'s in that. It's a good time.
I'll just check that out too.
Well,
I also had the weirdest impulse this week to, I guess just recently, because all this AI stuff. A Scanner Darkly, speaking of Robert Downey Jr. And what do you guys think about that? Like, I know that's a very era-specific movie.
Is it?
Isn't it?
It's got neat animation.
I love the visuals in it, like the whole rotoscoping thing. Like anything with rotoscoping kind of gets me. Just from trying my hand at it very poorly. Just man, there's so much skill that goes into that. But yeah, I agree with Graveyard Key. We need more corgi cam.
As I'm doing my King Shark Minecrafting, I'll have like a little corgi cam just like right here pointed at it. Oh, Joey stayed down here. Oh, actually here, a little corgi cam right now. She stayed down here with me. This is Joey.
Oh.
She is 1 year old this month. Oh, it's a little here, so let's see if I can get it to focus on her a little bit. Okay, so it's not going to focus on her, but she's 1 year old.
Refuses.
She's absolute angel, a bit of a shy pooper, but we still love her, and she's just, yeah.
I'm an exhibitionist pooper.
So that's how you pay the bills.
So Joker Folie à Deux opens this week.
Ooh.
Good for it.
Yay.
And from what Cody says, not a 5 out of 5 if you're not named Brian Lomax, it seems. I didn't have high hopes for it to begin with.
Yeah.
I came to the whole Joker thing way late. I don't know why. It was just already a thing. I decided I didn't want to be a part of it. So I don't know. I didn't watch it till like this year. So I don't know that I'm the audience for this, but I'll see it. I can see how you could get a musical out of the sequel to it, but I don't know. Again, I'm not crying out for a sequel to this, so I don't know.
Wait, like, is that the one thing that like you're tying to this movie? Like, if it's not a musical, are you already like, it's house money if it's not a musical?
I don't really care for the story. Like, I feel like I've seen this story done better before in other ways. It doesn't feel like this is treading new ground, except for the fact that they slapped like Batman into it. And I thought the creepiest part of it is him touching little Bruce. But I don't know. I'm just not crying out for this sequel. I don't think I'm the audience for it, but I'll be seeing it. But yeah.
Cody says, I think the lesson learned is that I love Todd Phillips' original movies and hate his sequels.
See, I'm not even in love with it, so I don't think this is the movie for me. But I'm interested.
I don't know. The first Joker was like interesting, but it just I don't know.
It didn't feel fresh
from it. Like it then I got all the Batman stuff. Just get rid of all the Batman stuff, honestly.
Dude, it felt like a cover band full of cover band members. It was King of Comedy meets Taxi Driver meets the Batman universe. It's one of those movies that I enjoyed, but if I never watch it again, that's okay too.
It's a phenomenon, though. Without ever watching it, like I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen the stair scene or versions of it or memes of it. I don't know. It hit a certain cultural zeitgeist.
Incredible. Like, he's tapping into something or other in that movie. So maybe that's what got in the zeitgeist. Maybe it was like maybe we were all. I cut you off. I do feel bad, but it's like maybe going into 2020, we were all more worried about the world going to shit than we realized, and then 2020 happened, and we couldn't really avoid it anymore. I don't know.
I don't like. Do you think this do you think this movie has something to say that is like parallel to society right now? Because that trailer says nothing to me.
But they were both coming down the stairs.
See, and I need to see it then. Take my money 4 times. I'll go 4 times.
Is it the
what
same
about you?
stairs?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's like in front of the courthouse that they're doing the kicking scene this time, right? Like it's not the same staircase.
Unclear to me. I just saw the two of them down a staircase that looked rather similar, but unclear. I don't want to confirm that it's the same staircase. Could be a different one.
I don't know. I'm a very mixed bag on the original. I think it's fine. I don't think it's really all that in a bag of nuts like everyone claimed. And this one, I don't know, maybe $600 million. Like I feel like it's going to probably do about half of what the first one did.
It's still $500 million.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%.
I think Coppola would be happy with that.
Coppola will take it. But like
$200 million.
Oh, spoilers from Cody. Apparently, that amazing staircase scene isn't even in the movie, so we don't get to see them both descend the amazing staircase.
That.
All right, I guess it doesn't matter.
That doing trailer shit and not having it in the movie. That's gotta have. It's gotta come to an end.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I say that, but there was one instance that I kind of liked. It was Spider-Man: Homecoming, where there's a shot of Spider-Man and Iron Man like flying off to go do something, but then that shot's not in the movie. That didn't bother me so much because that's a great
Rogue One. When
Rogue
he's
One.
walking on that bridge and the fucking TIE fighter I was like, whoa! Didn't happen.
I saw a 30-second YouTube trailer for Rogue One a week after it opened. Not a frame in the trailer was in the final product. I am not kidding you. It was entirely that stuff on the beach with them. Like not a goddamn frame.
Yeah, there's that shot from behind where he's like walking in the water and his cape is dragging. He was never on the beach in the regular movie.
No,
very frustrating.
Yeah. Also, I hate that movie opens with someone who's on the run from the Empire playing with a doll that is literally a stormtrooper. It's like, call me crazy, but I don't think Anne Frank was playing with SS dolls. Like,
you don't know.
I don't know. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Technically, I don't. Technically.
And Cody apologizing for the spoilers. No need for apology, sir. We appreciate that we're not falsely advertising that you'll get both people walking down the stairs this time.
Better to limit expectations, actually.
Actually, I think when the movie starts, when I see it, I'm just gonna say, okay, just so everyone knows, the kicking and the stair scene is not in this one.
But it's kind of a small gripe with just marketing as a whole, because that shot from Dark Knight where the Joker's sticking his head out the car window and just like basking in the glory of, you know, whatever the hell he's been doing that night. That shot doesn't make that movie, but it's really, really strong. It's a really badass shot at a badass moment. And, you know, it doesn't kill anything. Whereas what they're doing now is just doing like member berries, but only in like visual format to get you in the door, and then not giving you any of that. Like it's just deceptive. What are you looking at?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I might have just sent a Twitter message to someone with an invitation, just in case. No, that's all. Yeah. What were you saying? I apologize.
I don't remember because I heard tick, 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 tick.
I'm googling my non-family friendly things.
So, can you market a movie without having shots in it that like are super important in the film? Can you get people in the door to watch your stupid movie without giving something away or giving something that isn't in the movie?
I would think so. Marvel's pretty damn good at doing that.
Yeah.
They've edited a whole bunch of trailers. Like you couldn't tell that Thor had an eye patch in one of them. They've edited a whole bunch of them to not give away spoilers or to give away spoilers for something that's not actually there.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
They
didn't show the Wolverine in the classic yellow thing.
Yeah, but do you need a team to actually like do that for you and figure out how to market, where it's much easier to do like the Blumhouse style, essentially? Like, okay, here's what happens in the movie. Here's all the beats in this trailer.
I think if you're doing Blumhouse stuff, that's one thing. It's a much smaller budget. But when you're doing a DC film or a Marvel film or something, because Marvel, they went out of their way to, contain some of the Deadpool Wolverine stuff. If you're doing something that's a couple of $100 million, you got to take better care of this shit. Like, come on.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. Marcy asked the question, what are you guys' thoughts on expectations for Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn? Is she on par with Margot Robbie, or does she surpass her, or is she below?
Without seeing it,
for me,
when
I'm picturing Harley Quinn. I think it's usually going to be Margot Robbie, but I've got expectations. Gaga is awesome. Almost everything I've seen her act in, she was believable. So I think she's going to bring something to this part. I'm not sure if she'll surpass Margot, though.
I think she's a very interesting actress as well. I think it's going to be a very different portrayal, very different performance. And honestly, that's fine. Like these types of like big, broad superhero characters, like if ever we're going to get like different interpretations of them, like, especially going simultaneously, like I think it's the way to do it. Like I hope it's entirely her just kind of doing her own thing. And I almost don't even want her to do like the Brooklyn voice. Have we heard her talk at all? Does she have the accent? Is that confirmed or denied yet? Denied.
I think there's a bit of accent, but
okay.
I don't think it's like as strong as like say like the animated series Harley Quinn.
Mr. J.
Yeah.
Will she say Mr. J?
Hopefully. And apparently this is Lee Quinn. It's not Harley, so slight difference.
It works. Harleen Quinzel, isn't that her like full like official name before she becomes Harley Quinn? It's a bit of a mouthful.
I think that's one of them. Yeah.
One of them. Depends on the version.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even like what was the second or third movie with Harley Quinn, the solo movie
or something?
Yeah, Birds of Prey.
The Emancipation of Harley, something. They changed it.
Oh yeah, what was it? So it was originally just Birds of Prey, and then it was
15,000 words.
The Fantabulous Adventures of Harley Quinn and the Birds. I don't know. I still like that movie a lot. I've seen it 2 or 3 times. I love that movie. It's a shame it came out right before COVID destroyed the world, but I actually quite like that movie. Yeah, no, who was the villain in that? It's not the character,
the viewer.
Oh, that's fair. It wasn't Ewan McGregor, was it? Or who was it?
Yes.
It was Ewan McGregor?
I think that one was. Yeah.
He was so good. Like, I'd never seen him be a bad guy like that before. I adored that performance. Even if it took me a second to remember who he was.
Wait, wasn't he in the season of Fargo?
Oh, I never saw Fargo. I've seen the movie. I haven't seen the show.
Series. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Also, Jai Courtney as Harley Quinn. I'd be kind of down for that. Get out of his comfort zone a little bit, see what he can do. Although, honestly, like, Jai Courtney was really good in the Suicide Squad and Suicide Squad and then the Suicide Squad. I don't know if I've seen him in anything since then, but he was good as Captain Boomerang.
We had that ongoing joke for a while that Jai Courtney just ruins everything. And so ironic that as far as Suicide Squad is concerned, he was really good in that.
He was. He was honestly one of the best parts in a movie with Will Smith. Like, that's impressive.
But what? How did we get down this rabbit hole?
I think I took us there via comment. My bad. I steered us into the banks.
Where did we start?
Got Harley Quinn. Oh, it's talking about Lady as Harley Quinn.
Oh. What has she been in that, like, you're confident? Because I remember song
Star is Born.
Star is Born. I own it. But it's not something I'm like, ooh, you know what? Let me watch the 7th remake of Star is Born.
I think she does a pretty powerful performance in there. I swear she's in like 3 other things, but I'm also blanking. That's the main one that comes to mind. I thought, like, I'm gonna hate that, and I didn't hate it. So I don't know. I think she's got some chops, but fair enough.
Oh, she was also in House of Gucci. I forgot about that.
That's the one. I was gonna say.
That was an interesting
one. Into Adam Driver.
Hey, I hate all the accents in it, but the performances aren't necessarily the worst. But fair enough. It is not my favorite film. It's kind of iconic, though.
It's iconic.
When I'm thinking of, like, real bad accents, that one's gonna be up there for me.
Another one, Jared Leto in it too.
Oh God, yeah.
Ooh,
wait, hold on. Real question of the night right here from Graveyard. How tall is Lady Gaga?
I mean, she's got to be at least 5'1", right?
Yeah, she's on the shorter side. She's a shorty. That sounds right to me. Lady.
I'm kind of rooting for Folie à Deux to fail, but I feel so bad.
Oh, actually, you nailed it. Yeah, 5'1".
Wow.
Sorry, go ahead. What's up, CB?
Okay. You're rooting for Folie à fail? How? How, sir?
No, I'm not rooting for it to fail. Like, it was unique and refreshing to see Marvel just get their shit pushed in and really just change all of their plans. I'd like to, again, I'm not rooting against DC because they're at least trying something. And this isn't technically DC from what I understand.
No.
I want studios to learn that you can do other things than just fucking lean on these comic properties, these IP. And I don't want to telegraph just what I'm motivated for going into this movie. I have no expectations. Like, this type of thing going into a movie, this movie can just be mediocre and I'll be shocked and, like, pleasantly shocked. But for the sake of getting something fresh from here forward, I want to see, these studios just eat pavement. That is the thumbnail next week, Rosales.
We're definitely. I was about to say we need to remember this one here. Yeah, I mean, I would. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm still feeling bad about Megalopolis, but I don't want to wish a dud on anyone, even if I don't want more Joker movies.
No, and that's the inverse. I'd like to see Megalopolis do well because it is someone throwing money at a unique idea. It's the inverse of that exactly. as much as I don't know, I'll watch Megalopolis and give you the rest of that later. But I'd like it to see do well, I'd like to see it do well, just to give someone some I don't know, a little bit of an itchy trigger finger with their spending.
That would be nice. I think that's what people wanted. What was that movie? The guy who made Fifth Element, his super expensive indie movie a few years ago.
That was the one that I was trying to pull the name of a few weeks ago, and I just called it the French one. I don't remember.
Yeah, no, that definitely.
I know the
is.
series you're trying
Valerian?
Valerian.
That's the one.
Yeah. But that was also, I mean, like, that was an interesting one. Like, some of the world stuff was cool in that, but I just could not get behind the characters, and I felt like the actors were miscast. I don't know.
Yeah, making epic things like that, it seems like you're putting a little bit before the cart, the heart. You're putting the cart somewhere, and the horse really needs to get involved too somehow.
You're putting the horse inside the cart. That's supposed to be pulling.
You're burying the cart in the horse. And,
no, there's some actors out there that are totally willing to put that cart in front of the horse, the course in it. Zack Snyder kind of comes to mind. He's given us a few. You got Rebel Moon. It's not. Now I'm forgetting what his zombie one was. But,
The Dead.
Army of the Dead.
Yeah.
Army of the Dead. Thank you. So I don't know. He's trying to create epics, but they're not really catching fire, so to speak. I think it's much safer to go with, anything that anyone's heard of and then just call it Bloodlines and we're good.
But is it fair that Zack Snyder got to make a 4-part whatever the fuck and released all those different cuts? Because it's weird. It's the internet that willed Justice League to get re-edited and whatever. But who the fuck was it's weird that more people fight for Zack Snyder than do Christopher Nolan. Like, Christopher Nolan's the guy that has argued to have original shit and nailed it with original shit. Less so with Tenet, but who's to say what would have happened with that if it was a regular year? But what has Zack Snyder earned that he's getting this buku money to fucking throw projects at? And why aren't people like, yo, give Christopher Nolan money? Because he just hit fucking Oppenheimer last year hard.
Yeah. What is his next project? Does he have that lined up yet, or is that a big secret?
Batman 4.
Oh, really? He's going to come back and he's going to finish the quadrilogy.
He's going to tie in the Folie à Deux into his Batman universe.
That'd be interesting.
No.
Oh god, are they going to use CGI to bring back Heath Ledger back to life so that Lady Gaga can be his Harley Quinn?
Have you seen Back to Black? Either of you? The lady.
I haven't.
The
not Lady Gaga biopic. The Amy Winehouse biopic.
Yes.
It's disappointing. I think part of the problem with that film is the producer is Amy Winehouse's father. Shocker, spoiler. In that movie, Amy Winehouse's father has a little bit of a loving reception in that movie, which...
Very supportive.
I wouldn't
Are you saying
mind...
that's not 100% accurate to reality?
Well, was Bohemian Rhapsody 100% accurate to Freddie Mercury?
Pretty sure that's how they did it. Just, they were waiting for him to show up and, hey, we got a hit on our hands.
You were late. Wait, hold on a second. Boom, boom, tss, boom, boom. Yay, we're healed.
Got it.
That was the most absurd scene ever. It's wait a second. So you clap, and then you clap again. Sorry.
Hey, remember that time we were yelling at Freddie Mercury for being out all night, and then I just wrote Another One Bites the Dust, just in the middle of a fight, and that solved everything?
I literally turned 30 watching that movie, so it's got a special place in my heart, but it's not good. It's not. But
with these biopics, people who it's Hollywood. Why would it be any different? But conflict of interest needs to be a thing. If there's a you character in the movie. You can't have any sort of creative interest or input, because I feel like, granted, they're not the same type of singers, but Lady Gaga, who's acted and done quite well, let her star as Amy Winehouse in a better version of Back to Black.
That could be awesome. That could be really cool, actually. Wasn't it Jennifer Lopez who got her start playing as Selena or whatever? So I don't know. That kind of makes sense. It forever kind of entwines you with that character, so to speak. That could actually be really cool.
And plus, it's something that the studios can kind of put money behind, because it's not exactly an empty idea. It's someone we've heard of with I don't know, a singer that people give a shit about. Have Taylor Swift star in Strange Darling 2. Oh no, that's a sequel. Damn it.
Strange Darling 2. Even stranger.
Dude,
or Bloodlines. You never know. It could be like the next generation.
If to get Strange Darling 2, the way they get it funded is put Taylor Swift in, I'm taking that bullet. I will eat all of that crow.
Is she a good actress? I don't know if I've ever
I
seen
don't
her in
care.
anything.
I don't think so.
I do not care.
She's got that name recognition.
Yeah. Them going to watch Taylor Swift in Strange Darling 2 would get them at least $50 million extra on the original. Just people going back to see, oh, is there anything I can trace back to the sequel? Which is available tomorrow, everyone.
Yes.
Go buy it. Buy multiple
Darling
copies.
Yeah.
Buy everyone you know their early birthday presents.
Again, we are spoiling it. The next time we're with you, we're doing a spoiler on Strange Darling, because I've waited long enough, and it's not fair.
It's
It is worth every penny that you could possibly pay on it. Demand that video. That video demands it.
I forgot Taylor Swift was the love interest in the Lorax. She was kind of okay in that, I thought.
Was she?
Actually. Yeah.
Huh.
Like the girl the literal girl next door that was like obsessed with trees, that the boy's like, oh, if I get her a tree, she'll give me a kiss. Kind of a thing. That might not be like a direct quote from the movie, but close to it.
I know voice actors will shit on my head, but it's less acting and more voice work.
And on that subject, Mr. Cody,
Holy
what's
shit.
your opinion
What happens
on Taylor Swift as a voice actress?
Please tell me my microphone isn't making noise.
You're good.
Her voice.
Only the best possible noises.
Hey, there we go. Ray's my best friend now.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing much better now that I have power.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you guys, was it bad where you guys were?
I was in Texas, and just like in 2022, the last day of the festival, the hurricane season decides to kickstart. So in 2022, it looked grim, so I came home early. This year, it didn't really look all that grim, but then suddenly got grim, as hurricanes like to do. They speed up, they get bigger, they slow down. So my wife and kids endured it, just a lot of wind and rain. And so then it was very stressful for me trying to make it through the last day and try to get on a plane and hopefully not have anything delayed and canceled. And then you get home and it's no power for 2 days. So 85 degrees in the house, trying to relax with nothing to do and 3 kids. So I was literally, my wife was in the bath and I was in the shower. I was just like under cold water, like, fuck, like this sucks so bad. Then all of a sudden the light comes on. We were like,
get away from me.
Yeah.
Eating your curdled
my
milk.
neighbor, and she's like, it's funny, like when my parents were young, like my grandmother used to tell stories about being in a New York apartment that was like this big, and they had to have light by lantern, and they could only have the running water of the water they brought it by pails. And I was like, yeah, we didn't have air conditioning for like 48 hours and we were about ready to fucking slaughter each other. So
well, good times. Glad you guys seem to have gotten through the worst of it. Good to see you, buddy.
Can we pivot back around to Joker Folly a Dude, Cody, if you don't mind?
Sure.
As someone who's seen it?
You seem
Sure.
excited.
Let's do that, shall we?
Folly, do it.
No.
I mean, I don't know if I've been this confused and puzzled by like a major release ever since I've been covering films. Like I knew the musical element was going to be interesting and certainly not the direction I would have gone, but like it's a movie that just, I don't know who it's for. I don't know who it's trying to appeal to. Like,
out of curiosity, were you a fan of the first one?
I liked the first one a lot.
Nice.
And so I in a sense that I thought there was no reason to ever do a sequel. I was like, following up the story kind of ruins some of the appeal of the original. Like, is it in his head? Is it not? It, like I say in my out of theater reaction, I was like, it's the best example of a movie that absolutely did not need a sequel, and yet we all knew definitively it was going to happen as soon as it hit $1 billion and won an Oscar. And just the story of this movie, it's like a 2-hour epilogue to the first film. It's an hour in Arkham, and then the rest of it is like a courtroom drama where not much happens. And all the time you're just like, can we get more to like the Joker and Harley stuff? Like, that's kind of why we're here. And that seems like an afterthought. And you just get musical numbers whenever they are the subject, which I'm not really a musical guy. Yeah. So it feels like every aspect of this movie, it only takes one step into it while never taking a second step. Even like the commentary, like the people that love this are going to swear it's a commentary on sensationalism of serial killers and the sympathetic fans, like the Mansonites and the chicks that wanted to fuck Richard Ramirez and things like that. And like it dips its toe into all of these things, but it never does enough with it to consider it commentary. It's like saying Pulp Fiction's a commentary on fast food because of the Royale with cheese line.
Well, I mean, you're discounting Big Kahuna Burger.
$5 milkshake? Come on, man.
I'm just saying, everything that the movie does is like on a commentary or a story side, like it just barely kind of dips into it. And so you're sitting there for 2 hours like, what the fuck are we doing? Genuinely, by the end of it, I'm like, I know I don't like this, but like it's a movie that I almost don't even want to discuss it with other people that really liked it. Like, usually that's enticing to me. I'm like, ooh, I didn't like it. You loved it. Let's talk. Yeah. This one, I'm like, I really don't even want to be a part of that conversation, because then it's just immediately going to get pretentious, where it's like he's actually a secret genius. This is the movie that is twice what the original was, because it's exactly what it shouldn't have been, and it's commentating on the original film and the reaction to the original film, and that's woven. No, it doesn't deserve any of that credit. No, it's not that.
It's going to get it regardless.
It's going to get it regardless, absolutely. But like, it's a movie where the main star of the film is the previous movie. And so every bit of dialogue, every bit of commentary, every conversation that you have is just kind of referencing shit that we saw in the last movie. And so you're just, even in the courtroom drama, one by one, they just bring people from the original movie to recant the events that we already know happened. And so you're just sitting there like, eventually is some shit going to like pop off or what? Like, and even Phoenix and Gaga, like, you would think in the best version of this, Joaquin Phoenix got the Oscar last year. I know a lot of people were like, ooh, like Lady Gaga, like this is going to be her year. She's going to get an Oscar nom, maybe even the win. Like, there's no way she's not going to turn that out. No disrespect to Lady Gaga, I don't think she stood out at all. Oh, wow. And I don't even think Joaquin Phoenix really stood out at all. Like, it felt like his Jokerisms were like neutered to like, for the people that hated his cackle and everything like that. It's like, do less. Oscar winner, do less. And so like, I really wanted to see more of what Lady Gaga could do with the character, but it really just felt like she was hired to sing. It felt like they just need. There was like 10 musical numbers and dance numbers of varying length. Some of them are pretty sizable. Some of them are just for like a moment or two. But even that side of it, like, traditionally, I understand musicals to be a movie where they use singing and dance sequences to kind of like convey the plot. Like, we're going to sing the exposition. They feel like commercial breaks in here. They don't propel the plot forward. They don't really even commentate on the plot. It's just like Joker goes into his head for a moment and you get a musical number for 5 minutes, and then it shoots back to him, and then it continues on with the scene. And it's even like incoherent where the first film, it was a nice little twist here and there when it would show you something that we thought was actually happening. It was really just inside Arthur's head, like his relationship with his neighbor. And you're like, oh, like that's how fucked up he is. That's interesting. This movie, there's so many sequences that feel like they're obviously in somebody's head. They're obviously some kind of a fantasy or a psychosis like that. This wouldn't happen in real life. But the rest of the movie treats those sequences as if they did happen. And at no point does it like give you a clear answer on like, is this reality? Is this in somebody's head? Are there certain mixes of both? And so it just ends up being kind of incoherent. Like not even in like an appealing dream, like where the appeal is not knowing what's real. Like this, you're like, that scene doesn't make any sense if that actually happened. And yet scenes that seem like they're in reality are referencing that scene that felt like a delusion. Like if that makes any sense without saying anything specific.
A little bit.
And so, I mean, aside from the cinematography, which is gorgeous, it's a really nice looking movie. And I saw it in IMAX. And for a movie that doesn't have any action sequences, it looked fucking great in IMAX.
Okay.
Aside from that and the production value during like the musical numbers and stuff like that, I really don't have anything nice to say about it.
Wow.
I mean, like all credit in the world to all the artistry on display, but as a story, as a continuation, as a commentary, whatever the hell it was trying to do, like I don't know what the fuck this thing was. And I did not expect to walk out that heated in a negative direction. I figured if anything, it'd be like, it was interesting. I'm just not really a musical guy. I figured that was the floor.
Okay.
And I walked out of it like, what the fuck? I'm so confused. I was at an IMAX early fan event screening and people were walking out. These are people that paid $20 a ticket to see the movie early. Wow. And they said, fuck this.
How early?
Yeah.
How early were they? Halfway through the movie, by like the fourth musical number.
Wow. Oh no.
And I don't know if it's because they didn't realize it was a musical or not. I mean, I could see a lot of people having that issue because the marketing campaign was very confusing for this.
So Lady Gaga said it's not a musical, so everything's fine.
That's the other part of it that's really confusing. I'm like, I understand from a marketing standpoint if they didn't want to call it a musical because it's a fact. There's a lot of people like myself that don't really like musicals, and so that is absolutely a turnoff. So them trying to like save face and lie and be like, no, it's not really a musical. We just sing and dance to get the plot forward. Bitch, that's a musical.
It seems like it.
It's a trailer that like it has the couple little notes of music in there, but if you didn't follow movies the way that we do, I could understand somebody walking in not expecting it to be a full-blown musical, and then they walk in, and 30 minutes in, they've had 3 music numbers. They're like, I think I'm out. So that might have been why, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. And then, like, again, I can't get into specifics, but the only other thing I heard about this movie for a while from the people that saw it at some festival not too long ago, they're like, oh, the ending is going to blow people's minds. It's going to be all crazy and controversial. And I get to the end and I'm like, so that's kind of the point you made at the end of the first one. What the fuck were you guys talking about?
Feeling I know where they're going now.
Yeah, it's just like, it's disappointing because when you have a movie that doesn't need a sequel and they decide to give it a sequel, you're like, okay, what do you got for me? And this almost felt like Todd Phillips was so scarred from getting shit on so much for making the same Hangover movie 3 times that he's like, okay, we can't do anything that relates to the original film and what people liked about that original film at all. So what's the most bizarre, backwards fucking thing we can do? Let's do a courtroom drama musical and say nothing. And
dude, if word gets out about it being a musical, this movie ain't gonna make $500 million.
Oh, I never expected it to in the first place, but yeah, I mean, it's,
how do you go from $1 billion to less than half with a DC movie? DC movie.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
Come on, the sequel doesn't usually make as much. It's just a cash grab, right?
Holy smoke.
The cinema score on this thing is going to be abysmal. I can tell you that because so many people are going to walk in expecting, Joker 2. And they're going to walk out going, no, thank you, sir. I don't know what that was.
The fact that people were walking out during an IMAX thing, that's
so
fan
event.
Quick
question. Based off of just a quick little Googlings, Aquaman was $1 billion movie. The second one made $434 million. Captain Marvel was $1 billion movie. The Marvels, $206 million. Are we thinking in between the two of them? Are we thinking even less than the Marvels? Like what? Like how do we?
It's got to be more than Marvels, right? Like
I don't think
know.
it's
Marvels
gonna be like an abysmal box office, but it's not coming anywhere near the original. I can tell you that. I mean, just with how divisive the original is, half the people that watch the first one isn't going to show up for this one, no matter how good it is. And so you have the people that liked Joker, and this is essentially being like, sorry you like the original movie. This is something fucking really weird. And so really the only people I can see walking out being ultra positive on it are people that just had absolutely abysmal expectations and are going to really like just the production value of it, or the people that we were just talking about that are going to be the insufferable film Twitter snobs for the next 2 weeks talking about how everybody didn't get it.
I don't think that's strong enough.
I'd be fascinated to find like if Brian loves it, that's going to be a fascinating conversation. Like, please explain to me why you love it besides the fact that it has Joker in it, because I don't understand.
Just so somebody else can yell at him.
Like, usually a movie like this that it's divisive, I can be like, this type of person's going to like it and I understand why, or this didn't work for me, but if you like this, I'll get it. Like, this is one where just everything that it does, I don't understand that appealing to anybody. And because none of it feels like a complete thought. It feels like just a bunch of scattered ideas that are thrown together because they made a shitload of money.
So it's Megalopolis without them making a shitload of money beforehand.
I haven't seen that yet, but I might tomorrow, so we'll see.
Okay. So you guys are why the movie all flopped. I'm out here trying to support Francis, and y'all are just like...
Take my money to the robot. What can I say?
And they don't even call Lady Gaga Harley Quinn in this movie. She's Lee.
Oh, yeah.
I know that sounds really stupid, but a lot of people are going to get really hung up on that. They call her Lee the entire film.
What? I'm sorry.
That's
what is this?
And by the way, can I listen to Stevie Wonder at home, Joker? I wonder if that's to the meme. We have Stevie Wonder at home. Is there a Stevie Wonder song in Joker too? Is it that
I don't know. It is what they
forward?
call a jukebox musical, by the way, too. Where most of it is them doing renditions of other songs. A lot of Sinatra.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not anticipate that. I just assumed that they were originals, but
there's a couple, I think, but for the most part, it's them spouting off show tunes.
I wouldn't be shocked if it does like 40 million for Thursday and Friday and doesn't match that for the rest of the weekend.
I think it's going to drop like a fucking brick on the second week for sure.
Right.
Wouldn't that be enough to get it like top 3 though?
Oh yeah, it'll
like,
win the weekend. But I feel like Thursday, Friday, and maybe some of Saturday, word will get around, and by Sunday you're going to see a big drop. Because people don't like musicals like that.
Well, this is like what, the third musical this year that they tried to hide it was a musical. Wonka, the Mean Girls. I feel like there's one I'm forgetting.
Strange Darling.
Apartment 7A? I don't know.
Oh yeah, Apartment 7A. Broken ankle. Broken ankle. Broken ankle.
We're trying to scroll and see if I see anybody's like reactions. I saw one guy I'm friends with. I see a lot of festivals who really didn't like it, but he also didn't like the first one. I'm curious to see people that loved the first one, what their reaction is specifically, because I think that's most of the people that were going to come to see this anyway. But I'm not seeing much.
Yeah, I would assume so.
I didn't have interest.
It's a bold strategy.
Yeah,
Can you think of another movie that this? Yeah. Can you think of another movie that's like, hey, let's spite the people who like the first one. Let's just give them something horrible or completely different for the second one.
The Last Jedi.
That whole trilogy.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, like,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Oh, you hated all that reminiscent shit? Well, fuck you. We're just going to delete all of it. Oh, you hated all the fuck yous? Well, fuck you. It's all back.
All right, we're going back to the first one.
Dexter season 10.
She's actually a Palpatine. Fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's puzzling. It's very puzzling. Usually I can at least say like I appreciate kind of the punk rock attitude of like let's just break all the rules and do whatever the fuck we want, even though it's really ill-advised. But it's not even interesting enough to really commend it on that front. It's just like what? It's just confusing and perplexed is my reaction in a nutshell.
I'm also trying to think of another genre where they would try to do the let's hide what this is. Like, can you imagine a horror movie that they don't advertise as a horror movie, and then you watch it and it's like a Blumhouse thing, or like a comedy that they like advertise as a drama, and then they're like doing like slapstick jokes the entire time? That'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
A couple of the opposite, and they did kind of have that effect on me. Now I'm blanking on it. It's the Paul Giamatti one.
Holdovers?
Oh God, no, I love
Sideways?
Holdovers, but
Sideways?
no, it's American Splendor. Sorry, it just came to me. They totally cut that trailer like it's a comedy, and there are some comedic moments in it, but man, it is a heart-wrenching drama, and I did not get that. I thought I was going to like a very fun romp, if you will, and yeah, it is anything but that. I know it kind of stands out when you get that kind of lying advertisement, if you will.
Private Parts.
You know, yeah, fair enough.
Paul Giamatti was in Private Parts.
Well,
Don't mind
I
me.
feel like
It's
what was the Adam Sandler movie? Funny Guys, Funny Friends,
Funny
Funny
people.
people.
Funny People.
Where
They
you going?
advertise that very heavily as a comedy, and then you watch it, and it's like I think there's like 2 or 3 jokes in the entire
I mean,
movie.
they're comedians, you know.
Yeah, there's
That's
lots of
kind of-
comedians in the movie. Yeah.
That's basically everything that Judd Apatow did after Knocked Up, where it's like he's the funny guy, and it's like, nope, this is a drama with a few jokes.
Yeah, well, yeah. This is 40 was kind of like that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Apatow.
And it's been a while since I've seen the one he did with Amy Schumer, but then the King of Staten
Trainwreck?
Island is kind of the same way, where it's very much a drama with
Yeah.
humor in it.
He's certainly more touching drama than he is comedy lately.
Yeah.
Wait, who did Bros? He produced that, right? He didn't direct that.
Correct.
Yeah, I think he just produced it.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't know, bros.
a bit more the same. The gay rom-com. That's essentially what R-rated gay rom-com.
Oh, yeah. I do know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay. That was pretty good, I thought, actually.
It was.
Yeah.
It was, and you know, I forgot that he didn't direct that, so I take it back.
Look, you can't remember every detail about every movie. We have to be human at some point here.
Cody, how was we were talking about this earlier,
Mhm.
and you would know far better than we would. Anything that you saw this past week over in Tishas that might be on the radar for October for horror season?
Terrifier 3 was great. If you love the second one, or if you just enjoyed the second one, it's along the same lines, but not 2 hours and 20 minutes long. So I know that's going to be the saving grace for a lot of people. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. I don't unfortunately have my list right here organized with release dates, so I really don't know how much of this is going to be coming out and when. But Anora, whenever that comes out, let's see, for a non-horror pick, what is this? Let's see here. Release date October 18th. Okay, so Anora was my second favorite of the festival, and it was my number one for most of it. It's
Nice.
like it was just pretty much advertised to me as a Cinderella story for sex workers, and I was like, cool, I'll see that.
I'm in. Yeah.
And it's like a comedy drama. It's got Mikey Madison, who most people recognize as one of the ghost faces in Scream 5. And
okay.
so she's this stripper / escort, and she starts hanging out with this rich as fuck Russian kid who just parties and does debauchery all the time, and they kind of fall in love in the first act or so of the film and get married in Vegas doing the stupid young kid thing. And apparently his parents are like connected, and so they get wind of it and they send these goons to go to the house and are basically going to force them to get an annulment, and the husband hauls ass. And so basically most of the film is her stuck with these Russian goons and trying to hunt him down, and it's a movie that was shockingly funny. I laughed my ass off almost the entire movie. So next to Deadpool and Wolverine, it's the funniest movie I've seen all year, but then it sneaks up on you when it actually gets really touching and dramatic. So that was a really, really good surprise. You
really sold me on that one. I want to see that one.
Definitely check that one out. When does this come out? Okay, so November 8th is when this comes out, but Heretic.
Very excited for this one.
With Hugh Grant.
Man, when I saw the first trailer of it, Hugh Grant needs to be more like this.
And the trailer doesn't give away much of anything, which I love. Like, I saw the trailer and loved it, and then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, good, I can actually encourage people to check out the trailer for a change. I fucking loved that movie. It's so smartly written for a movie that's basically trying to deconstruct religion as a whole. It never feels like it dives into sacrilege. Like, it gives just as much credit and just as much weight to what Hugh Grant is doing in this movie as the non-believer as it does the two protagonists who are the believers. And so I thought that was just a really interesting tightrope to walk that I thought they did brilliantly. So that one I can't give nothing but praise to. That comes out November 8th. Let's see here.
You don't have to go crazy about it, Cody. I know you just kind of rolled in on us. It's
no, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to check the release date on this other one. I'm kind of going through just my top 5 or 6, but I just didn't have it arranged with release dates yet. So I'm gonna be like, check it out, and then it's like Strange Darling. 9 months later, it comes out.
Dude, I said this earlier. You have at least like 3. You have this 3 film leeway with me because of Strange Darling and what was the one? The one where he was a chef. What the fuck was that movie?
Oh, What You Wish For.
Yeah, What You Wish For.
Yeah.
So
I cannot find anything on the release date for this film, but another one that was a nice, like, kind of a smaller film that was fun is called Bone Lake. And it's kind of like, what did I say on Twitter? I said Bone Lake is kind of like Speak No Evil if you gave it an orgasm. So you have 2 different couples.
Which one, the American or the
Either.
No, either. Okay.
2 different couples show up at the same Airbnb. They've seemingly been double booked, and they decide to just share it for the weekend. And one couple is sexually aggressive and starts to have like starts to kind of push the boundaries, much like in Speak No Evil, where it's like,
whoa,
one couple is pushing things and being inappropriate, but the other couple doesn't want to be rude and doesn't want to be like confrontational. And it just goes into some really wild and fun places from there. So that's just the setup that I gave you. But that one was a really fun one to see in a festival crowd. So there was laughs, there's some crazy twists and turns and gore and stuff. So that was a pretty good one to keep an eye out for.
It sounds awesome. You said it's called Bone Lake?
Bone Lake.
It's a great name.
I love the entendre now that you've kind of explained what's going on in there.
Yes, exactly. And I'm trying to think of one more from like the middle of my list. I'll give 2 more. So one that I had a lot of fun with called Mr. Crockett comes out to Hulu in like a week or 2. Cool. And it's basically Freddy Krueger mixed with Mr. Rogers.
Oh, it looks interesting.
It's fun. There's some script issues. It wasn't perfect. It's in like the middle of my list, but as a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, I dug a lot of the very obvious Nightmare on Elm Street references and influences. So you have this guy like Mr. Rogers named Mr. Crockett, and the kids watch the VHS tape of him doing his little dance numbers with all the puppets. And essentially, if the parent in the room starts to be a shithead, starts to punish the kids, or starts to be an absent parent or whatever, Mr. Crockett comes out of the TV and fucking annihilates the parent.
That's awesome.
And kidnaps the kid to take him to the happier world. And so it's very much a twist on the Freddy Krueger thing. But that one was a lot of fun. There's some really cool puppet designs where, you know, like you see the friendly kid television side of it, and then whenever you actually enter the world, everything that you see on screen is now like a demonic version of that. So that was a lot of fun. And then one that was actually kind of a nice surprise, because I'm not really a big found footage mockumentary guy, is called Strange Harvest. It's got a really fucking long title, so give me a second. I only wrote down Strange Harvest.
Starts with Strange.
It's like Strange Harvest, Island of the Occult, or something like that. It's a long one.
Bloodlines.
Strange Harvest, Occult Murder in the Inland Empire.
Wow.
And I have not seen Grave Encounters, but this is the filmmaker who made Grave Encounters. A lot of people seem to like that one. And what it is
Lindsay's
one of the
3.
Yeah, it's a fake documentary about a serial killer. So it's very Zodiac-esque with like a supernatural twist. And so you're essentially going back and forth from 2 actors playing these cops, given a recanting of the events of this investigation from, you know, year 1 all the way until the end of the investigation. And then you get these little found footage videos that are used as evidence in the documentary for all of your scares and all of your supernatural stuff. So that one was an interesting one. That's typically not my thing, but made it pretty high up my list.
Cool.
And then I've seen 24 films at this festival, so I could go on for a while.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm going to try to knock out that ranking for Friday, and everybody will be able to get a lot more info. But those are some to keep your eye out for.
By the way, I do recommend Grave Encounters. It doesn't break new ground or do anything like mind-blowing, but it's just like a super solid, just well-made found footage horror movie. Like the second one's pretty dumb, but the first one, like it just does what it does well. And so I've always kind of wanted to see more from them. I don't know if it's the same people that made the sequel or not, so I'm down for that. I'm down. That sounds dope.
Lindsay, how many people are watching right now?
24.
Cody, is Halle Berry that attractive in person as she is on the screen?
You're getting soundboarded, bro.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Let's put it this way. Whenever she was the guy next to me and I knew that I was next, like her handler was like, I'm going to bring Halle to you next. My heart was like,
Well, that's just celebrity. The pictures.
I wasn't nervous talking to anybody else, though. I was nervous talking to Halle for a second. But yes. Yes.
Dude, when I saw her age, and I was just like, dude, this is a picture from right now. So
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. That was definitely that was a wild moment for me. And I'll give her and Alexander Aja a credit too, because usually at these festivals the talent only visits one theater. Usually it's the biggest theater. They have that there, and then they just kind of telecast the intro and the closing Q&A to all the other theaters. Halle Berry and Alexander Aja actually went physically to every single theater that was about to show Never Let Go to say hi to everybody and give a quick little intro. So that was a really nice little touch, because I was in one of the smaller theaters, and all of a sudden they walk in and I was like, oh, why the fuck are they in this theater? Like, they should be in the bigger one. And then come to find out, because the movie took like 30 minutes to start, but that's what they were doing. So that was cool.
That's awesome.
She's always seemed like she's had like a good attitude around her. Like, she showed how many people show up to the Razzies, and how many people show up to the Razzies and laugh and like have a good time while they're doing it. Like that's pretty cool.
Not nearly enough. That is cool.
Right.
Yeah, she seemed nice. She was cool with me. There was another person that I met and hung out with a lot during the festival that didn't have a great experience with her, but I don't know the context of it. I think she asked a certain, like, kind of more of a cliche question that Halle, I guess, pulled no punches and just said, I hate that question. So maybe that was it. Maybe it was just the fact that she was honest and was like, do you have anything else? But yeah, my experience was really good.
That's cool.
And
But
meeting
did you
Lauren
like Never Let
Lavera
Go, by
was
the way?
absolutely awesome also.
We talked about it last week. Well, what did you think of Never Let Go, by the way?
I liked it more than a lot of people. Like, it's pretty high up on my list, and everybody else I've seen is toward the bottom. I really dug the way that it sets things up where you can interpret it like 5 or 6 different ways, and the movie never really definitively gives enough of an answer to discredit any of that. And I think that's always interesting. Like, if all 4 of us talk right now about what we got out of the movie, I think we get 4 different answers, and I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, without getting too much into it, I like that aspect of it the most.
No, that was kind of my takeaway. It feels like a movie that's more fun to talk about necessarily than watch. I
see that. Yeah, I don't necessarily see myself rewatching it anytime soon, but it was an interesting little conversation piece.
Yeah, it sticks with you.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to the star and producer probably have something weighs it up, I would assume. Well, me and Halle talked about it. What would you say?
I said, don't you start with me. I'm not for sale, motherfucker. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't loved any of Alexander's films, but I like pretty much all of them, with the exception of High Tension. That one just doesn't work for me.
He's a very interesting filmmaker, honestly. Like the remake of Hills of Ice is pretty sick.
That movie gets slept on. I really enjoy that movie.
Yeah, I sampled the hell out of it for one album that I did with my band, and yeah, I don't know. There's something about that Hills Have Eyes remake. I love that, man.
Mm-hmm.
It will live on for infamy for me. I love it.
Yeah. Specifically, one of the things I liked about Never Let Go a lot is that, like, as a parent, there's something to be said about, like, things that you don't necessarily want about yourself to spill into your kids through the way that you raise them, and sometimes noticing that it is regardless. And even though it's a very extreme version of that, like her psychosis very much spilling into one of her kids, where he's like 100% on her side, believes everything that she says, and then the other one that very much rejects that. That type of stuff is always interesting to me, with the relationship I had with both of my parents that was completely opposite, and then as well as what I try to do with my kids. So that was probably the thing that I liked about it the most, as far as like the things it's trying to say, which is probably many different things.
So I was kidding before, but there's something to it, and don't name it if this is the case. But is there a film that you watched where like the energy from the experience boosted it a bit, and when you sat with it, you're like, actually, you know what, that was not as much as I thought it was awesome. Don't see the movie if that happened, but
I mean, it's hard not to have that. I mean, like when you see Terrifier 3 at the world premiere
with them
in the theater with them 2 hours after meeting them, you know,
the ideal audience, like,
the ideal audience for it at, you know, almost midnight checking it out. Like that's the best possible way to watch that movie. So of course your experience is going to be a little bit heightened, but you also get the opposite. Like there's a number of films that I watched that just did not work for me at all, that the crowd was going nuts for, and it almost turns you off to it, where you're just like, dude, is something wrong with me, or what's happening? Because like every fucking joke is landing with like 75 people here, and I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs. So the festival crowd, the festival experience, it's kind of a double-edged sword in that way. Like you get when you're into the movie, like a Nora, and you're laughing and everybody's laughing with you, your laughs are even bigger than they would be if you're watching it at home. But then you get something like the Creep tapes, and I'm like, I'm not a creep guy, and then you watch it and everybody's fucking dying laughing at every 5 minutes, and you're just like, I don't get it, guys. I don't know why I'm here.
All right, so it worked both ways. That's
yeah. And not to say that like if I'm the odd man out, it makes me harder on the film, but like it's the infectious laughter and enjoyment of the crowd is not like a universal appeal, I guess is what I'm going for. Like it doesn't make me like everything more. Sometimes it makes me more puzzled.
That's kind of like when Tim and I went and saw the Visit with M. Night, that crowd, and everybody was rolling, and we were like,
yeah, that's a good example, because everybody says that's his funniest movie, and I was like, I didn't laugh once. I thought it was fucking weird. But okay.
Dude, the theater was rolling, and it's just like, is there a joke that we're just not in on?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, the grandma threw up. It's funny. Bodily fluids. It's a comedy. Like,
so yeah, that is pretty similar. I didn't realize that could work in both directions, but I've experienced one half of it, so that's interesting.
I feel like I'm frequently the only one laughing at jokes and things. Like when I saw Paul, you guys remember Paul? The Seth Rogen movie?
I love that one.
There's so many jokes in that movie that I was the only person in the like 3/4 full theater that was laughing, and it just made me laugh harder because it was like, you guys don't get this?
As Marcy kind of points out, The Happening is M. Night's funniest movie. I feel like I was the only one laughing in that theater.
I don't know if I was laughing when I first saw it, but since kind of reevaluating it as a unintentional comedy, I laughed my ass off when I watched that. Like just every single little scene that's so bad, I just laugh. Fucking hot dog guy. Come on.
A hot dog guy. The person who casually offers their arm to a lion who just like very casually just rips it off. Like, oh my God.
Well, like,
there's a moment
Marky
in that
Mark
movie
introducing himself as a science teacher. Like, come on, there's so many comedic beats.
Exactly. There's a moment in that movie that only I can appreciate, that nobody will ever understand why I laugh my ass off every time. And there's a scene where they go to like a diner or something, and they're in a crowd with like 30 other people, and they're watching a news report, and it basically says, get the fuck out of town. So then the camera shows them open the door, and there's this red Taurus that just hauls ass. It's like it's way ahead of everybody else. At the time that I saw this, I was driving a red Taurus. And so when I saw it, my best friend, like I saw it with him and his girlfriend. And as soon as the doors open, he saw a red car hauling. He goes, there's me and Cody way ahead. And so every time I watch it, I like relive that moment. Like halfway through the news report, like, fuck this. They're just out of town.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's definitely a you had to be there moment, but that's one of my favorite moments to revisit.
Yeah, definition of nostalgia. Experiencing something with a movie that isn't there. I don't know. I don't know
Exactly.
what else we got? We're running here. We're at midnight my time.
Oh, we are, yeah.
I mean, I can talk about more movies if you want, if we're struggling for topics.
Oh, I'm caught up on Agatha all along, and it got a lot better. I actually really liked episode 2 and 3. Like, episode 1's fine. It just kind of, I don't know. Episode 2 and 3 kind of, I was
Are
digging
you
them.
the only one that is caught up? Because I haven't.
I saw the first 2
Seen it?
episodes in a theater with Uncle Sean in Texas, and I was
Oh,
like, no. And then we
Fair
got
enough.
the typical response. We're like, oh, 2 hetero white males. It's not made for you. And I'm like, then go watch the opinion of somebody it's made for. Like, what the fuck?
Very good point.
Since when are Marvel things made for only tiny groups of people? It used to be everybody, and that's why you get everybody's opinion.
Very good point.
It's a
Out of curiosity-
weird property. Like, I don't think the show needs to exist, but like, I just like Catherine Hahn. So just like her just being this weird lady. Just,
Yeah,
I don't know.
she was
Yeah.
good in it, and I thought Aubrey Plaza, her character, I was kind of curious to see more. But like by the end of episode 2, I was like, I would not click play next. Sorry.
Funny.
Out of curiosity, were you a fan of WandaVision, or did you feel like that had a
I was
purpose?
very lukewarm on it. I didn't care for it at first, and then it kind of started to win me over with all the intrigue it was building. And then by the time it ended, like it just kind of flatlined in the last couple episodes. So I ended up very much like in the middle. I haven't really liked any Disney Plus show, especially the Marvel side, but even on the Star Wars side. Like first season of Mandalorian, that's probably it for me.
Mm.
Not that I've seen all of them. There's a number that I haven't watched, but all the ones that I have, just they're okay at best.
I was
Don't get into act like
Don't get into
they
watch
won't pay it
Andor.
off.
Honestly, just watch episode 5, and that's it. That's all you need to
Yeah.
watch. Don't watch anything else.
Has anyone watched
Familiarize
Penguin?
yourself.
I watched the first episode of that my last night in
Just
Texas.
the first episode. I did not see the second one, which aired yesterday. But
Yeah, I
hear
haven't.
nothing but good things.
It's gotten good buzz from what I heard. At least the premiere did.
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, this feels like a cliche just because it's mob related. It's kind of like Sopranos ish in the Batman universe. I know it's only 1 episode in, so I don't know what things are going to change, but it's very just like mob story.
All right, I need to catch up immediately.
It's pretty
No,
interesting. But why did they have to like ugly up a pretty guy? Like, why couldn't we just get like the next Gandolfini in there?
I'm
Stealing
very
roles from other
excited.
guys.
I
He's dead.
desperately need to
That's
start
why.
Penguin because Batman, the movie was great. I loved Robert Pattinson. The whole cast was great, but Colin Farrell stole that goddamn movie. And so I have been very excited for this. His commitment to this fat suit role is so, I don't know. I'm very excited to start it.
Does feel stronger than Agatha, but I'm digging both of them for different reasons.
Oh, Kristen Milotti is in the show too. What?
Mm-hmm.
I love her.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'm an idiot. I'll probably start that tonight.
She's pretty strong as the role that she has in the first episode. But yeah, I assume she's only gonna have a bigger role going on.
That's cool. One of the biggest crimes that How I Met Your Mother did was not giving Kristen Milotti double the screen time that she had.
And they say fuck a lot, so it's
Nice.
very R-rated.
Oh, I'm down.
Which is going to be odd when you get the Batman 2 and the Penguin doesn't say fuck.
Is that still happening, by the way, Batman 2? I feel like I haven't heard anything about that in like
It fucking
a
better
long
be,
time.
man. I'm telling
Right?
you, I will absolutely jettison out of any interest of DC if they do that. Now, everything I've read is like they're really just taking their time with it to make sure that it's good, which great. It really has only been like speculation online because other things related to it that were announced have slowly been kind of X'd out, like the Arkham show and a few other things. And because it is the only Elseworld thing going on right now, it wouldn't be entirely surprising if James Gunn was like, no, just my stuff. But I feel like he's smarter than that. Like, I don't feel like no matter what the Snyder bros want you to believe, I don't think he's out to like fuck the fans or anything like that. I think he like genuinely wants to do a great job and wants to appeal to as many people as possible. And I'm sure he I'm sure he loves the movie himself, but then again, he knows how many people really liked Batman, and that would be foolish to throw an axe into that. So,
well, the amount of buzz that this is getting, and it literally like just continues the story from that movie. Like, okay, so what happened to these people in that movie? I can't see how they wouldn't do a second, but we'll see. I guess they could always ruin the season.
Also, just Robert Pattinson's on top of the world right now, man. Like, I know he's not doing a silly voice in this like he is in other things that people are excited about with him, but like, I don't know.
It's not as sparkly as I prefer him. You know, what can I say?
I do like a sparkly R Pats.
That Bong Joon-ho movie with him in it looks really interesting.
Fun.
Yeah. And he has a weird voice in it too. So that's
all I need to hear is Bong Joon-ho, and I will watch anything. I don't even need to hear what it is. I just need to hear his name. I'm in. Yeah.
I really need to watch The Host once and for all.
Ooh, yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
I know. I hear it all the time, and I never watch it.
Oh, and Charles, if it does make you watch The Penguin even more, it does have a pretty good Clancy Brown in it. I know you're a fan of Clancy.
I love me some Clance, man. What the
Who
fuck's
doesn't?
wrong with me? Weird
the thing
people.
is, I need to get in touch with my uncle. He has the Max subscription, so you know.
I love how close you and your uncle are. It's kind of heartwarming, you know.
He's clutch. He's clutch in a pinch. And I see you wagging your finger. Half of the year I'm in the UK, and my uncle doesn't. Well, let's just say...
I'll shame you until I need something. Then I'm like, hey, call your uncle for me.
And then I watch it, and then you don't watch it at all.
Yeah.
Then I'm talking about it.
Tell him thanks for Mickey Mouse. I never watched it.
Theoretically speaking, of course.
Theoretically.
Watch. Thank you, Troy. I'll get on it.
It is amazing. Do not confuse it with the stupid Stephanie Myers one, the lady who did Twilight. Don't confuse it and watch the wrong one like I did once for a podcast.
No, it's like the beast in water, right, or something like that.
Yeah, it's a good film compared to the teen, drama thing. Yeah, watch that one.
That is like a weird move. Like I don't. We don't. I will go off on a tangent.
We're not doing YA stuff, Lindsay.
We're not doing it. Okay,
No
cut me off before I even start.
Well, we're spinning tires. Cody, do you have anything else to drop on us before?
What's up, Mr. Leach?
Let me see when this movie comes out.
What's your favorite movie to watch when you have power and there's a storm outside?
Showgirls.
Nice.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Never seen it. Where the
it's worth it.
Is the release date for this?
Marry, fuck, kill the Olsens. All three of them.
I always forget that what's her name is an Olsen.
I'm marrying Elizabeth, and then we can just toss the other two. October 11th releases on Shudder. Okay, so a movie called Daddy's Head comes out on Shudder on October 11th. And this is basically the Babadook for step parents without the screaming, belligerent kid that usually people that don't like the movie point as the reason why they don't like it. So you have a kid who his father passes away at the beginning of the movie. And so it's him and his new stepmom that are left grieving. And there is this monster that comes out of the woods that uses the face of this recently deceased father to torment this kid. And so it's a movie that kind of explores a step parent's role in like stepping in for an absent parent where she didn't really want to be a mother, but now she has to be in this terrifying situation. It's got some pretty good scares to it. So that was a pretty solid one too. A lot of people like that one way more than I did, even though it's in my top 10. There was people that said it was the scariest movie they've seen all year. You know, take that with a grain of salt because people say that about a lot of things. But
they probably have only seen 20 movies in the year. You're watching what 100 at this point by now? 150?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's a little different. It's relative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a solid one to keep an eye out for. I dug that one. There was a movie called Ick that had Brandon Routh in it, Superman. And when does this come out? September 7th. That is a lie.
Not my Superman.
2025, September 7th.
Yeah, it's always tough because sometimes they list the premiere at a festival as like the official release. But keep an eye out for this one. Basically, it's a post-apocalyptic type movie where you have this like alien extraterrestrial like plant or like mold or something like that that's all over the world, and people just kind of ignore it because it's been there for years, decades, and hasn't really done anything. And then one day it kind of rises up into this alien hive mind kind of being. And so it's kind of a horror comedy that has a lot of late 90s, early 2000s, like alt rock needle drops.
Nice.
There's literally a line in the movie arguing why Creed is the greatest band of all time. And so it made it very high on my list just for that. But it was a fun movie. It's a very fast paced, like unusually fast paced movie, like with the editing, but it was a good time. And it offers a not so subtle commentary about how society just ignores blatantly obvious issues and just kind of goes about their day. Like you have this extraterrestrial plant that is growing into houses and shit, and everybody's just like, like it's been there. It's not going to hurt anybody. So it's not subtle, but it's like in a fun way that it kind of beats you over the head with it.
It's a crazy concept. Like this thing has just been here forever, so we just deal with it. That's interesting.
Even the movie takes about 20 minutes before it addresses it. Like it's kind of burning through a lot of the backstory and like montaging through the high school years of Brandon Routh and Mina Savari. And all like everybody's like, what the fuck is this mold they keep stepping on? Like it's just there. And it's like 15 minutes into the movie before somebody actually addresses it and calls it the ick and gives like some kind of context to why it's there, how long it's been there, what it is. And so it was interesting. It was clever. I like that one.
But wait, you're saying that somehow the argument for Creed brought it higher in your rating?
Yes, absolutely. He points to the girl that he wants to be the hero. He's like, "You're Scott Stapp. You have to rise above."
Traumatic.
Yeah. You get like Stacy's Mom and like those types of songs that just like fucking needle drop out of nowhere. So if you like that era of music, it was entertaining.
It's probably hard for you to figure this out because when Coffee Table happened last year, did it have any sort of buzz at this time?
Nobody mentioned Coffee Table. That's why I didn't walk into it.
Right. So it's hard to ask you, is there something that you haven't seen that might make a dent, because it didn't make a dent by this point last year, right?
I saw pretty much everything that I wanted to and added in a few that people were kind of buzzing about. Like Bone Lake and Daddy's Head were the ones that people were talking about the most as far as kind of the smaller movies. So if there's they played 90 films there of varying size and notoriety, so there's probably a number of them that'll sneak its way into conversation next year, but there wasn't any that I didn't see that people were like really talking up that I just couldn't get tickets to. Last year that was not a lot of people were talking about it, but I heard enough people talking about What You Wish For that I was bummed I didn't see that at the festival. And then when it finally came out, I was like, fuck, if I would have saw that, it would have been like top 4 for me.
Oh wow, okay.
So there, look into your crystal ball. There's nothing really that you've noticed just yet,
as far as
something that you missed that people were talking about?
No.
Okay. All right, that's good. I don't know.
It's also kind of a different year for the film's movies. Like last year, I felt like there was a lot more movies that people were really losing their mind about. Where this year, there's a lot. Most of my list are in that like 3 to 3.5 out of 5 range, where it's like I dug it, check it out, it's interesting, but not as many movies that just were absolutely not for me, and not as many movies that I was like chomping at the bit for. Like we don't really have A Strange Darling, or we had Your Lucky Day and The Last Stop at Yuma County, both last year. There was a few other, When Evil Lurks was last year. Like these movies that were like huge buzzworthy movies that people were just not stopping talking about. The movie that came out that week that people wouldn't stop talking about was The Substance, and it didn't even play at the festival.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, we actually took a time slot off of the festival to go watch The Substance because I was getting like 35 comments a day. They were like, "Yeah, cool, Terrifier 3, but go see The Substance."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, terrible. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
I get it. One of my favorites.
No, mine too. That was the thing that me and Sean said when we walked out of it. I was like, if this would have been like the opening night film at Fantastic Fest, this is the only movie we would have heard about for the next 8 days.
And you guys got premiered the robot movie, right?
Wild Robot, yeah,
Yeah,
that was really good.
that's funny.
Kind of a weird premiere amongst
right.
all the other depravity that's there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I said something like that. Like they went to the horror convention and opened with a kids movie.
Yeah, it was an odd pick, but it was surprisingly good.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Fascinating. What about you, Gray? You got anything coming up right now, buddy?
No, not really. Other than Charles's show. That's about it.
I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, you're on it right now. I don't know. Every Thursday I go over to that darn kiddo's channel, The Thinkers. Every Thursday. Supposedly I have a thing. There you go. That thing. YouTube at that darn kiddo's. We talk about things. It's people from like 3 different continents disagreeing about everything. I think last time we had a debate about men's mental health. I think we're continuing that. The person who was too afraid to debate me last time is going to grace us with his presence this time. So, yeah, come check that out. And I think there's a whole lot of news in game development that's apparently world shattering. So I think we're going over that. But yeah, join us, YouTube at that darn kidda every Thursday. The Thinkers. That's about all I got going on. What about you, Charles? What's going on in your world, sir?
Well, I've got
Not a
that.
damn thing.
Yeah. Saturday, hopefully this guy isn't too tired from being blown out of air conditioning, electricity, all of it, and the rough schedule. We have another gore discussion stream on Saturday, which Dice is going to be there as well. Yeah.
Woo! Dice.
And we're going to talk about gore and can you make gore in PG-13 films and have it be effective?
Yeah, just call it purple.
No. Next topic.
All right, see you next week. Yeah, that's Saturday.
That's amazing.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
That's it, Cody.
Dice coming in clutch. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm putting out random shorts here and there when I think of something fun or cute, or I see something that I want to talk about. I also have a bigger video about the state of Magic the Gathering. If you're an absolute nerd like myself and want to see something about how the game is changing forever, last week it is changing even further. I don't know what's happening. The game is going to be in a really weird state in the near future. I'm sorry, what was that?
Stop it!
That's awesome.
Okay. I have stopped now. Charles is in charge.
I don't have the wheel, but by all means, finish your
I
plug.
also, tomorrow, everybody look out. I'll have my Salem's Lot review. I got to watch that a few days early. The HBO Max film. I think it drops on Friday. So yeah, a couple days early.
Quick thoughts on it? A little summer, or do you want to save it for the review?
Me likey.
Oh, yeah,
He
it's
like it.
Nice.
Or he
I was
like
a little concerned about it from everything I kind of saw. I wasn't so sure, but
I don't have the
really kinda
perspective of
settles
somebody
for me.
that has read the book or has like an affinity for the 70s series. So I don't know if that opinion is going to be much different, like having a comparison piece, but as its own thing, I liked it as kind of an old school vampire spook fest. I thought it was fun.
Don't break embargo.
Oh, yeah.
If there is one.
There's not, it
Oh,
dropped before I even watched the movie.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked it quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. And thanks for stopping by, Cody. It was kind of last minute. I saw you in the chat. It's like, let's get them going up in here. And speaking to the chat, thank you, chat, everybody, for tuning in and watching, and super chats and subscriptions and all that. Dice, Marcy, Troy, Grave, and Rollis. Rosales Comics. Thank you very, very much. Oh, and Crawling Chaos, too. I almost forgot you. I apologize. We love you all. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Gray, give us the last word.
Word.
Got to bring